Face all my demons, I felt the pain. Almost taken by darkness, saved by the light. Here I am now, I'm so ready to fight. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, and I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing.
A spark ignites the flame, a flame fuels the fire that burns inside my soul. Failure is in the pyre, I hear them tell me to quit, but there's still a dog in this fight. It's like the harder things get, I'm clenching more on the fight. You can topple the towers and foundations intact. This nation is ours, we'll fight back when we're attacked. Give them hell, never miss, take a shot, pump your fist. Hope we can't abandon, have been knocked down, but I'm still standing.
Yeah. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, and I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing. walk through the rain. Face all my demons, I felt the pain. Almost taken by darkness, saved by the light. Here I am now, I'm so ready to fight. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, and I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing.
A spark ignites the flame, a flame fuels the fire that burns inside my soul. Failure is in the pyre. I hear them tell me to quit, but there's still a dog in this fight. It's like the harder things get, I'm clenching more on the fight. You can topple the towers and foundations intact. This nation is ours, we'll fight back when we're attacked. Give them hell, never miss, take a shot, pump your fist. Hope we can't abandon, been knocked down, but I'm still standing.
Yeah. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, and I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Unshaken, unbroken, I'm still here. In God I trust, yeah, I have no fear. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing.
shake up the world. Stand up, peacekeepers, be the truth preachers, be a life bringers, shake up the world. I hear the sound of freedom, shake Well, Scotty, the power surge has hit. It hit us on all ends and we are so set up from Starlink. Hello, Elon Musk. We are absolutely set up for success today. And I'll tell you what, the enemy has thrown some darts and arrows our way. We had one of the biggest power surges we've never had on our back end. And so here's the deal. We're here right now, so we may not be able to play this game the way we wanted to play. But what's so powerful is we are going to pivot, because God gives us everything we need to pivot in this time, because you never know what's going to happen. Good morning, Scotty Sachs, and good morning, Take Our Border Back teams across the country, all of our listeners. Scotty, what an incredible day to be alive. What we just missed out on was Tammy Kelly's Flags in Motion banner worship in front of the White House. What an amazing moment that was, and a historic moment for Take Our Border Back.
Kim, we are undaunted. We're going to go full steam ahead. I don't think we haven't even pivot. We're just going to punch these. We know who our enemies are. We're going to punch them right back, and we're going to carry on. Kim, I was thinking earlier today, you and I have been doing events. It's our third year doing events together. And I think this is about our 10th one. And I think it's going to be our best one because, we've always been blessed to have great people in our movement, people that are true stands for warriors and freedom, God-loving people. They've become great friends. So we're surrounded by great people. And we know all the people out there watching, Kim. We know there may be as many as 1 million today. We don't know them all. But we know they're the best, most educated, most awake, most discerning, most critically thinking people on planet Earth. And we just love to be here with these people. We're surrounded by great people, great speakers, great audience, and great cohorts like you and Mark and everyone else we're going to talk to today.
We absolutely are. And what an incredible team we have. So we want to welcome you all again to the pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back online summit. We are broadcasting all across the country and in nations, you guys. Yes, nations. Nations like Canada and Australia and Romania and Switzerland. Guys, this is such an exciting time to be alive. The fact that we can use technology to be together is a blessing, but there is something very special about meeting together, which we all are going to be doing across the country for Thanksgiving. So today we are bringing it to the table, everything that you need to be set up for success, to have the powerful conversations with your family members without fire hosing them. Remember, the Bible says the heart is deep waters. A wise man draws out the heart. And famous proverb, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So our lineup of speakers today is absolutely incredible. They're going to bring you all the tools that you need. And Scotty, I got to say, I'm a little bit sad. This is the last leg of the journey on this round of the Take Our Border Back North America Alliance.
Yeah, Kim, it seems like 10 years, but I'm enjoying every moment of it. Kim, you and I have been blessed to have a platform with our microphones or radio shows. And I'll remind you, when I joined Salem Radio in San Diego, there was a show that came on after me, Kim Yater, Take Your Power Back. And that's how we met. I think I sent you to Mike Lindell's event. And Kim, look what's come out of it. We've built this. Of course, we couldn't have done it without the thousands of people involved, but you and and Mark Istertoff and Mark Anthony and many others that we'll name today. I don't want to leave people out. Kim, we took our the God gave us these platforms. The grace of God, we're able to be here today. Yes. It seems like many more years, but I don't think it's our last leg of any journey, Kim. I think we're just beginning.
Oh my goodness. Now that is a message for the world right now, and a message for America. If we think that we're done because we have Donald J. Trump in office or ready to go into office, guys, we are not done yet. We are just getting started. Remember, This journey is about standing to the very end, guys. This is our freedom. No more riding on the coattails of our forefathers' freedom, those that died for our country. It's now time to put a stake in the ground and stand for our God-given freedom. Hold our elected officials accountable. That's exactly what we're going to do. So, Scotty, it's game time. It's time for us to bring in our Take Our Border Back Steering Committee. And if Canada's in the house, we're going to bring Eddie Cornell from Canada, our team lead. So guys, come on in to the Take Our Border Back stage. We got Mark. We got Scott. Warriors in the house. Hey, 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 guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone.
Gentlemen, you're looking handsome and dapper as always.
Nice to see you guys this morning.
So good to see us stay in an abundant mindset, regardless of what's happening. I think of Life is Beautiful, that incredible movie. It is all about thinking of what is good, what is true, what is noble, what is holy, what is trustworthy and pure. We've got to set our minds on what is good because we are creators. Mark, we talk about that a lot. We are co-creators with Christ. So in the midst of our Take Our Border Back creation, I want to know from you guys, what has been your greatest takeaway in this round? Let's start with you, Mark Istertoff.
Well, we've been on the front lines, very, very upsetting and concerned about what's been happening at the border, obviously. There's a great deal of hope now, not just because we have POTUS coming back to the helm, but I'm very excited to see what God is going to do here moving forward in this next year. This is going to be a very exciting time, very optimistic. It is great to see people awake now. We've gone, that percentage of people stuck in the matrix, asleep, is diminishing little by little. And I know we're going to talk more about that today, but it's really exciting. And it's exciting to be here today.
Come on, Mark Istertoff. So good. And Mark, you have been an incredible team leader. And we are so excited because each one of you have taken on a very big responsibility for Take Our Border Back. And I know that all of the work we've done is unpaid. All of the time, the commitment, this has been a sacrifice because you know the importance of restoring our great republic.
Moving that needle was awesome.
Come on, that's exactly what we did. We moved the needle together. That's the power of unity. So good. And Scotty, I know you got a takeaway. What was your takeaway?
Kim, I realized the night that we all were called together in an emergency meeting. Mark Anthony has deep ties through security in this country. And we got a call. I don't think she'd mind us saying her name at this point. Lara Logan. She had come on and told us, simply putting us on notice that we were being watched. I'll leave it at that. We won't get into the details. We know who we were being watched by. And I realized at that point how many great people we had brought together, from Lara Logan to General Flynn to a thousand great podcasters. I can't even begin to name them. But I realized there's a true difference between group think and group drink. Group drink is what we see on the left and the woke. They have one mindset. They go forward as one, shouting and screaming and intolerant as they are. We're group thinkers. And my takeaway, Kim, is the power of when people get together, like the power of prayer. When people get together and mastermind and strategize and bring ideas to the table, they come without an ego and they come with their heart invested. We do powerful things, and that's what we've done.
So good,
Absolutely.
Scotty. That is exactly what we've done. I have to tell you, last night I was in bed and my heart was just thinking about all the things I'm so grateful for. the people I get to be blessed with, the people I get to work with. It has been the most amazing thing to be with you guys and to create with you. And I think the thing that kept coming to me last night was all the different people who have committed their time, their own dollars to physically be with us, as speakers at our events. That was my takeaway, was God just dropped the scripture, ask and it'll be given, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be open. And I think that we stood in that faith. That's exactly what we did. We sowed the seeds. We didn't give up no matter what came at us. We persevered. We were tenacious. And God kept connecting us. One door opened and another door opened and another door opened. And I just call that like the Holy Spirit fuel. God is so good. We are co-creators, just like we said in the beginning. So my takeaway is that what God began in us, he's going to carry it out to the very end. Each one of us has a very special gift on this earth for such a time as this. And I know it's crazy. It's a little bit cray-cray, especially right now with this transition that's about to take place. But remember, how we think about it is going to be key, because that is going to be how we powerfully communicate in this time. So guys, Mark, Scotty, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the work you've done. And we are so excited. The thank yous are just beginning. So I think it's time to release Mark Anthony, who's going to come back later, and Mark Istertoff, who is going to be running the raffle at the end. If you didn't get your raffle tickets, look at the scroll below, you guys. You've got your Delta AR-15. Mark, is that a sweet rifle?
It is sweet.
It's a sweet
Hey,
rifle.
Kim, I call it the deep state shooter.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you've got the raffle. Go and get your raffle tickets, guys. We are raffling at the end for the Delta AR-15 rifle. We've got our sign Take Our Border Back t-shirts, and we also have the Founder's Bible signed, as well as a sword, so that you are equipped for battle. It's a spiritual battle. Remember that. So with that being said, Mark Istertoff, we're going to release you for the time being. And Mark Anthony, God bless you guys. I love you. But we are going to see you guys in just a few minutes.
We
So
love
Scotty,
them, Kim, but they got to get going. We got things to do and speakers to talk to. So
we
see you guys.
absolutely do. Come on. Scott, we have a list of thank yous that we have got to mention. Now, we don't have to do anything. We get to, because they had such an impact on us. And because of we, the people coming together, we were able to shift how things are happening. We were able to shift the mindsets. We were able to begin taking our country, this great republic, back. So who do we get to thank first, Scott? San Diego.
Yep.
San Diego, San Ysidro, our California Take Our Election Back teams, our Take Our Border Back teams, our Mexico pastors. Thank you.
Kim, we got to thank our New York team, Kim Wathen and Randy Barber. Wow, did they prove to be two strong warriors that take no prisoners? Boy, we've seen them fired up, Kim. We've seen Randy really fired up, and Kim gets very emotional, and they're such a big asset to this team.
Such a big asset. And I got to tell you, my words are coming out a little fast. I just got so excited. Eddie Cornell just popped in the room. We didn't get to bring him on. Let's bring him on in. Eddie, the words that were going to come out of our mouth were, and Canada's Veterans for Freedom Bravery Award led our Canadian team, Eddie Cornell. Good morning, Eddie.
Hey, Kim, let me jump in. Hi. I want our audience to know that Eddie Cornell is a decorated Canadian veteran. He's a Canadian hero. He was part of a suit of the Canadian government. And soy boy, Justin Trudeau, and gosh darn it, you won, Eddie.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of battles ahead to go. But we had a pretty big win, and, we're not done winning. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody there coming up for the American Thanksgiving on Thursday. God bless everybody. And I'm so proud to have been a part of your organization and be part of this team. It's been very special, and I think it's the beginning of something that's going to be very big. As you can see up here in Canada, we're going to change. We know a red hat changed the country down there. We're hoping a red hat's going to change the country up here. We got a lot of work to do.
Come on, Eddie, your greatest takeaway from the Take Our Border Back movement.
Well, it shows me that, we have such commonality between our countries that we're in it together. Sure, we have borders and every country should have a border, but, the lifestyle that we have in the United States and Canada, we got to get our country. Well, I guess I should put it to the point where we don't want our country back the way it used to be. We want our countries back the way it should be. And that's what we're fighting for. And, I think this nonsense is finally starting to end in the United States. And I think it's going to wake up the world. And I just heard Lindsey Graham on the one of the interviews saying that the United States is going to crush Justin Trudeau and Canada economically. Well, I hope that's the case, because that's what we need. We need these people just to get the heck out of here. That's, we're very excited for what's happening in the U.S. and what's going to happen in the months to come around the world. And we want to be part of it.
Eddie, I remember when we met you, the story's too long, but Kim met you at, was it CPAC, one of those big events? Yeah. And I remember thinking, God, I've done business for years in Canada. I love those guys. They're our brothers. They're just like us. And then she brought you to one of our meetings. I said, this guy fits in perfect. You have been just such a great partner for us. And might I say, saludos desde Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, everyone. Greetings from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I am Mexico. You are Canada. Kim, you're in the United States. That's our North American alliance. We pulled it off, guys. We brought 3 countries together.
Yes.
To 3 countries, 5 cities, 1 mission and purpose. We did it, guys. And thanks to you, Eddie, and all the great warriors that are here and around us.
Come on. You, Canada.
Thank you, guys. I'm so proud to be part of this team. I think the best is yet to come.
Amen. Eddie Cornell, Veterans for Freedom in Canada. We love you, Eddie. We'll see you in a little bit. Guys,
Eddie, I want to come sing the Canadian national anthem with you. Oh, Canada.
I love it. So, Scotty, we also have another big thank you to Tom Holman, the new border czar, and his team at Border 911. Victor Avila came out, joined us on the bridge, the Rainbow Bridge in Canada, with Eddie, our New York team. Not only are we taking our border back, we're taking the rainbow back. That is God's promise to every single one of us. You're not stealing my rainbow. So a big shout out and thank you to our team of Border 911. Also, another shout out is our teams in Arizona. So a shout out to our Arizona teams, Noel Roberts, Britton Farms, so grateful for them. Our DC teams, our Rescue the Republic teams, the convoy that came from Canada and New York to join forces with Rescue the Republic. Steve Slepshevic, we love you. Also want to thank our Texas teams, Robert Agee, Doc Pete Chambers, Colonel Phil Waldron, One Shot, our pastors across the country that stood and fought with us. We fought the spiritual battle together. They got on our calls. They prayed with us. They have been praying with us. I want to thank all of them in Victory Outreach that had a special event for us at one of our convoys. Scotty, you have another thank you, I think.
Yeah, I do, Kim. We want to give a special thanks to all of our speakers this past year. There's too many to name. We'll, of course, meet the great speakers today. We have many generous donators. People have given their time and money, anonymous donors. And I might add, Pastor Rod Parker and his wife, Suzanne, who were great spiritual leaders throughout our movement, Kim.
Absolutely incredible. We're so grateful for Pastor Rod and Suzanne. They traveled with us. They fought the battle with us, and we finished strong on that Rainbow Bridge together. So with that being said, we've got to give a great round of thank yous to all of our listeners. Guys, listeners, and those of you behind the scenes, maybe you didn't get to participate in our events, but you shared the information with people. You began to stand up in your communities, take your power back. We want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is going to be about all of us uniting together to take our great republic and our countries back. Now, we do have a special thank you. If you're looking at our screen right now, we've got Verity Metals. Scott, this is the sponsor. Matt Geiger. We love Matt. So if you're looking for gold and silver, maybe you've got paper gold and silver, guys, stuff goes down. You want to have the physical gold and silver in your hands, whether it be in a lockdown safe in your home or a local depository. And Verity Metals can take the IRA, your 401k, or even get you what you need so they can absolutely make that transfer and make sure that you are set up for success. We're going to bring on Matt Geiger in just a little bit after a few of our speakers. That way he can tell you how to take your power back from the deep state. Thank you to Verity Metals.
We got to add, we are not financial advisors, but we know what all the smart investors and smart patriots are doing, getting their money out of the fiat money system in the banks, in the stock market, and investing it in gold, transferring 401ks and moving money from bank accounts, 401ks, transfer right to metals and gold, and Matt Geiger will show you how to do it.
Come on, Matt Geiger. And Scott, this program today, our pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Summit, is being streamed on 100 platforms. Over 100 platforms. We broke that. We were like, okay, 30, okay, 60, okay, 80. Let's go for 100. 100 platforms. And it is only because of our fellow freedom-loving patriots that this is happening. This is because all of us have learned along the way that we've got to unite and work towards the common goal. So we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts to all of our streamers and their listeners and viewers. Scotty, who's the first up that we get to thank?
Kim, you got to keep moving. I'm looking for my list. So you carry on and I'll
All
be
right.
right back.
So Take Your Power Back Show is one of those streams. We've got Scotty Sack Sovereign Radio. We've got the entire Take Our Border Back backend streams. We've got His Glory TV. We've got PPN streaming, SGNon streaming, David Paxton K2, Mike DeCac ITN, 5D Grandma, San Diego Live Data, Chula Vista Live Data, J Data, 172287, Josh Oreo Express Alpha.
And we're back with you, just so you know.
Come on, take us from Louis Herm, Screw Big Gov.
Oh, you got it. Louis Herm, Screw Big Gov. Love you, Louis. Two guys drinking coffee. Send
Charlie
us a cup
Simon.
now. Our good friend Charlie Simons, Do Not Talk. Erica and Rich Trasinski. Guru Sack, The Lot. Stop the Rot. He's Australian, isn't he, Kim?
He sure is. We've got Brad Wozny.
There you go. Pick it up, Kim.
Brad Wozny, Audra Morgan, Eye of the Storm, Luke Slywalker, Patriots with Grit, Jim Price, James Grunvick, Unrestricted Warfare, JJ Carroll. He was just in Congress. Man, he was speaking for all of us, speaking for those kids. Old Patrol HQ, Soup Mama, you're up, Scott.
Sam Miller, America Happens. Vem is not the third assassin of President Trump. He was framed.
That's right.
Jason Levine Show, Roger Farina, Citizens Media News, and our good buddy William Wallace for America Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot of streamers, Kim.
That's a lot of streamers. This is what we've created together, is just the beginning. Can you imagine what's ahead, Scott, for all of us? Because we are all about supporting every single one of those streamers and all of our patriots to take our good republic back. So with that being said, before we move into our next round, guys, where we're going to bring on Pastor Bishop Leon Benjamin, MAGA Black. We absolutely love him. He's been one of those warriors working closely with us. We're going to take a moment to remind you that this is the last hour and a half for you to get your raffle tickets. And if you haven't gotten your raffle tickets yet, I want you to see what's available to you. You've got the raffle for the Delta ZRO AR-15. This rifle is a sweetheart. You definitely want this rifle. You can go to takeourborderback.com and just click on raffle. That's takeourborderback.com. And we've got a couple of other things that you're going to have access to at that page. So it's takeourborderback.com. The raffle for the Delta ZR AR-15. How do you access it? With a $25 donation, that gets you 1 ticket. $50 donation, 2 raffle tickets. $75 donation, 3 raffle tickets. And $100 gives you 4 raffle tickets. Now, we've got people who went in and made a big donation and they bought a lot of raffle tickets. Go get your raffle tickets. You guys want to be a part of this. Our next raffle.
Hey, Kim, wasn't that the deep state shooter? Doesn't that gum have a name? Deep state shooter.
Deep state shooter. It's like Ivan Raikla, deep state marauder. Hi, Ivan. All right. So we also have our Bible and sword raffle. This is the Founder's Bible. You guys, this is an incredible Bible that you're going to want to dig on into. It is signed by our Take Our Border Back teams and speakers. And we're also sending you a sword to remind you to put on the full armor of God. And last and not least, Scotty, what do we have on? Our Take Our Border Back t-shirts. Guys, this is it. What you see there for this round of Take Our Border Back, this historic North America Alliance, USA, Canada, and Mexico. You can access those shirts. They're all signed by the speakers across the country and your team. That's takeourborderback.com for all of those raffle tickets. And when you go to takeourborderback.com, click on raffle, you'll see your choices there. And then remember, when it takes you to the link, put in the message 10 tickets, because whatever your donation is for the Delta AR-15, or 4 tickets for this one, 3 tickets for this one. Scotty, back to you.
I just wanted to say what an appropriate gift the Bible and the sword are. You know why?
Tell me.
Because we're going to make the deep state satanic cabal read the Bible before they die on the sword.
Oh, wow, Scotty, you are witty today. That's good. That's really good. Scotty,
now let's get them over here and start reading the Bible to them.
Come on, Scotty. Let's start with the mission of Take Our Border Back.
Kim, the mission has been from day one to secure our borders again. We need our government to be accountable for our borders and our ballot boxes. And it all comes down to a local level, Kim, where we hold our sheriffs and our city halls and our county school boards accountable. We can't have this the drag queen story hour agenda at a local level. The border is not just about the federal government, Kim. It comes right down to the local level, doesn't it?
That's right. General Flynn says over and over, local action equals national impact. Remember, they've been saying forever, Trump is standing in the way of them getting to us. Okay. So we, the people, have got to take our power back in this time. And we do that by local action. And that's what we've been doing with Take Our Border Back, with providing all the resources, the strategies, and the tools so that we, the people, can step into our God-given sovereignty, our freedom, and hold our elected officials accountable and restore sovereignty back to this nation.
Kim, isn't it time to bring on black magic?
I think not black magic, but MAGA black. He says,
sorry,
black magic.
You got it right. But I joke with you, Kim. Of course, I knew where you were going with him. He's an amazing man.
He's absolutely incredible. He is truly a freedom-loving patriot. From New Life Harvest Church, he is a prophet to the nations. He's prayed with dear President Donald J. Trump. And today he's going to pray with us and bring a message. So Bishop Leon Benjamin, welcome to the pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Online Summit.
Amen. God bless you, Sister Kim and Brother Scotty. It's an honor and a pleasure and a treat and a treasure to be with everyone across America right now, and those that are sharing with us in this great victory that our nation just wrought through this 2024 elections. Our duly elected President Donald J. Trump, and he's now President-elect again, and President-elect Vice President J.D. Vance, and all of the teams, and Kim, you and Scotty have been doing a tremendous job, and we just want to thank you guys for allowing us to partake and be a part of this victory for our nation. So let's go ahead and pray. Father, we thank you. We give you glory and honor and praise for what you have done. We give you all the glory for allowing all of the attempts of the enemy, spiritually as well as naturally, to be defeated and cast down and destroyed, that no weapon formed against this nation shall be able to prosper. And every tongue that is risen against it and against your people, they shall condemn. We shall condemn it in the judgment. So, Father, we ask that you bless Kim and Scotty and all of the Take Back Our Border family between Canada, America, and Mexico, that you will have your way today, that every speaker will be enjoined and invigorated with the message of hope, the message of love, and the message of loving this nation as you have prescribed in your word. So, Father, have your way now. Yes. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we do pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Hey, Pastor Benjamin, I want to tell you something. I saw you the first time at a Reawaken America tour event. You were on stage, you were dressed to the nines, looking like $1 million, sweating profusely with your beautiful wife at your side. And when you got going, I said, my God, who is this man? And you drew me in, and I still say you're my favorite guy to open in prayer any meeting, anytime, sir.
Come on, come on. Bishop, let me ask you a question. Right now, this event today, you know, our goal is to set the Thanksgiving table with powerful, productive conversations. We want to support our friends, family, and loved ones, as well as neighbors, from being the turkey of the deep state this Thanksgiving. So what can you bring to the table today to really prepare us as we bring the conversations to our table?
All right. Well, God bless you, Kim and Scotty. I want to talk, as you see in the subtitle, about America and the people of this nation, the great people, the great citizens, of the promises, the provision, and the protection that God affords us because of our Constitution. First and foremost, our Constitution, the American Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and also the Constitution of the Bible. The Bible is also our Constitution. We have actually two, as they say, two residences. Our residence is in heaven, but our residence is also here on earth. And those that are Americans, I want to just share with this, just this little bit of space of time, Psalms 33:12, which says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his inheritance." And basically, what we need to understand is that we need to be a people who know their rights. What we saw over the last several years, little by little, our rights being dwindled and taken from us right in front of our faces. The breakdown, the barriers from the open borders to the open bathrooms. Okay, can I talk about all the things got open? Our economy got opened up to invasion of all types of things to begin to deteriorate what we know should be a strong economy. And so we saw these things happen. And so when a nation, as David said in this Psalms, is blessed, the word blessed means ursher. It means to be, fortunate, to be happy. Whatever happened about being happy, it means to be empowered. It's really about a nation that understands where your source of trust comes from. Because I cannot trust something that I don't know. I cannot trust an unfamiliar spirit or a person. I cannot trust. So the happiness comes from who you know. And then it says, whose God is the Lord. And this is going to be very simple. What we saw in our nation, the nation returned to God. So everybody's wondering, did America return back to God? Yes, it did. From the help of many patriots who will be on this call speaking tonight. I bless them. And Kim and you and Scott, those that came together to say, God, save our nation. Not only take our borders back, but save our nation. And this is what we're experiencing right now. What does it look like when a nation returns to God? First and foremost, we began to define what God is and who he is. And we clearly defined that God wants closed borders. We voted unanimously for closed borders. We voted unanimously for those who prefer to save our children and not destroy our children, whether it's from the womb to the tomb. It doesn't matter. Our children deserve protection in the womb. Life begins at conception, and after the womb, life must be protected even after birth. America said, we want to protect our children, whether in sports, in the classroom, or in the bathroom. We said yes to the protection. And so when we see the promises, provision, and protection, our Constitution is now being held up again. What America voted for this time was, we want leadership that will protect us through following our Constitution, just like we follow the word of God. And when we begin to understand that, it says the people whom he have chosen. This word people here is the word am. So when you say I am, you're saying I'm everything. When you say I am, you're saying I am who God prescribes. I am your solution. I am your hope. I am your faith. I am your love. This word am, or people, is talking about even the word, it comes from a word that means your tribe. Like Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. It comes from that word troops. I am, my God, your defender. Take back our borders was about nations coming together to say, I am protecting what is most loved and precious. And so it comes from another crazy word. And I just love these words right here. But it's talking also about builders. So that word comes from another word which talks about builders. The word is Ben. Guess what? My name is Benjamin. It's son. It means son of the right hand. And so all of these Bens around the nation, we get the word Bana, which we get the revelation of the year of Rosh Hashanah this year, 5785, the year of hay. It means the repairers of the breaches. Those that will repair the gaps, the open borders are now being reconstructed by the Bens. All of the Banas, all of those who want to build back what our Constitution has already prescribed. We don't have to rewrite our Constitution. We just have to follow our Constitution. We have to hold our leadership accountable to the Constitution that's already been built. If they would follow the Constitution, that's why the borders on day one are going to be closed by the president. The borders on day one, the economy on day one is going to start to be built up again. On day one, the people, the children, the tribes, the nation whose God is the Lord is going to start to be rebuilt again. We are the builders. We are the builders. And lastly, I'm going to say this, and I want you to know, it says, whom God has chosen for his own inheritance. That means God already has a plan, a legacy. He already has a plan laid out that those who choose him will not be disappointed. He already has a plan. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know my thoughts towards you are thoughts of what? Peace and not of evil, that you might have an expected end, a good outcome, a hope and a future, a good prosperity. Today, as you hear all the speakers today, I bless you, Kim and Scotty, that you will invigorate the listeners. You will cause people to know this pre-Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. But this pre-Thanksgiving will be one of the greatest Thanksgivings that we will celebrate in America, in Canada, and in Mexico. We will celebrate the giving of thanks that our God remembered us. He answered our prayers. He heard us when we cried out unto him. when we repented, according to what? 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name would what? Would humble themselves and pray and then seek my face and then turn from their wicked ways, that I would hear from heaven, I would forgive their sin, and guess what? Heal the land. That's what we're about to see now. The forgiveness of sin alludes to the healing of the land. And we're going to see so much healing from the north, south, east, and west, from Canada to Mexico, and let's just say all around the world. What happens here now will spread like a virus. Come on, it'll get into
Amen.
our families, it'll get into whatever, with our economy, our media, our sports, entertainment. It'll get into our churches again. It will spread, and I am so excited. Yes, America first. You better hear me right now. God is happy about America again.
Yes.
Isn't that something? God is looking to see what we're going to do. A reprisal. He's given us another chance to say, do you love me? And if you love me, you will tell everyone about me. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. This is our moment. This is our hour. This is our season. Let's not waste it. I'm talking to someone right now. Yes. Take your talents, your gifts and abilities, and share it. Don't hide it under the bushel. We are that city on the hill, that shining light that cannot, will not, and should not be hidden. It's our time to shine. Take back our borders. Yes, it's our time to shine. So
we are taking our border back. Come on, Bishop Leon Benjamin.
Yeah, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, Senor Pastor Benjamin Leon.
Absolutely love you, our brother. God bless you today. Thank you for being with us. And what a message of a hope and a future. That's exactly what we have. God is so good.
Kim, we sure do, and share his enthusiasm and his optimism. And it's the only way we can be right now. Everything's coming our way. We talk about this all the time on our shows. The media is going down. We're the mainstream media now. The financial system's about to change. We're really headed on the right track. And I think Pastor Benjamin just capsulized it all, hit it all on the head.
We've got to remember that we are co-creators with Christ. So Pete, the media has been conditioning us. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to get out of this, get people out of the cognitive dissonance, Scotty, right? And it's powerful what we think. So we've got to really take our thoughts captive, and we need to be filling ourselves with what is good, what is true, what is noble, what is holy, trustworthy, and pure, and stand firm to let nothing move us. We stand in our God-given freedom. With that being said, we're going to pull Mark Istertoff into the room. And Mark, would you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. So if everybody can join me, I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And God bless America. God bless Mexico. God bless Canada. God bless all 209 countries.
Thank you, Mark Istertoff, and God bless you for being a blessing. So good. And we're going to take a moment for the national anthem. Now, remember, guys, we got hit on the back end today. Power surge. So things are not working the way that they were supposed to, but I have a sense that things are falling back in line. So let's see if we get to listen in right now to Charlotte Rose sing the national anthem, one of our freedom-loving patriots. Now, I don't think you guys can hear that. I think that just got frozen on your end. Scotty, could you hear it on your end? Did it?
Yeah, I could hear it. I could see the visual as well. So yeah,
all
it
right,
was just.
Let's see.
you see by the dawn's early light what so proud.
I'm going to pop out of it because I think it's freezing up on everybody. So at least on my end, that's what it looks like. And we're hard.
No, it was playing. It was playing fine here, Kim. We could
Was
see
it
it in
playing
the
for
room.
you guys? All right. I'm just going to let it play its way through. Give
Let
me
it
a
play. See what
give me a
happens.
thumbs up when it finishes, Scotty.
All right, you got it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That is our freedom-loving patriot, Charlotte Rose. She is
I got chills, Kim.
We are so blessed to be in this
Wow.
great country. And I've got to tell you, there is a dear friend of ours before we bring in Chris Burghardt, who is an amazing patriot warrior. He knows the border well. We're going to tell you about him in a moment. I know we're a little bit behind schedule today, but we are going to keep moving forward. And I want to share my screen with you guys today. And what I want to share is a very special honor. There's somebody very special that we want to honor today. You might recognize him. He is a dear friend to many of us in the patriot world. And we got word this week that Scott Bennett passed away. And for those of you who do not know Scott Bennett was a lieutenant for the United States Army, psychological warfare officer. My last words from Scott has been on many of my shows. We've done events together. And Scott sent this to me and he said, Kim, this is a word for the patriots. This was his last text to me. Now I'm going to do my best to read through this to you guys because this is a message for the United States of America and the world to hear today. The last time I read this, I had boogers everywhere. And I'm just praying right now that I can get this out. A word from Lieutenant Scott Bennett. The United States, under the corrupt Biden administration and its foul and treasonous Department of Injustice and its agents of violent transgender homosexual wokeism, the FBI and its corrupt saboteurs of government in the CIA have waged a propaganda and legal war against RT, the Russian Times, Russian radio. Why? Because they know their time is short. They know they are losing the information war because the darkness of lies can never stand against the light of truth. And they know the American people, thanks to RT, Sputnik, Izvestia, Izvezda, Russia 1, Russia 24, and other heroic channels are for the first time discovering the raw truth and thereby being transformed by the renewing of their minds. And they're coming to the conclusion that the only enemy Americans have are their own corrupt, self-serving, child molesting, blood sacrificing government officials in Washington, D.C. Here is what I would say in response, says Scott Bennett. I see a whole army of countrymen, American patriots standing in defiance of tyranny, standing against the Biden administration and its fascist, globalist, woke lunatics trying to burn down the world if it doesn't bow before the rainbow flag. I see an army of Americans, patriots rising up in defiance of the maniacs crying out for the blood of children and the raping of innocents. I see an army before me of American patriots rising up to overthrow a zombie fool and a cackling lunatic acting as puppets under the monkey Obama. He was not a racist on a side note. That monkey is the monkeying around that Obama does. I see an army of American patriots rising up and saying with one voice, we will preserve and protect and defend the Constitution for the United States of America and die, if need be, to preserve the heritage of our forefathers as the blessing for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. I see an army of American patriots with victory in their eyes and righteousness in their voices. I see an army of American patriots meditating on the fact that if you fight, you may die. And if you run, you may live for a while. But many years from now, dying in your beds, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Constitution or our freedom or our destiny as holy children, priests, kings, and soldiers of God? Onward the brave, onward patriots, onward Americans. Lieutenant Scott Bennett, United States Army Psychological Warfare Officer. Scott, today's pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Summit is dedicated to you, your life, your service to this country and our world. May God bless you, your family, and all the seeds that you have planted. May they grow abundantly in Jesus' name.
Kim, well said. I hope he is with Michael Jackson and Prince, if you know what I mean. I'll leave it at that.
Scotty, we get to bring in our first speaker right now. And he is an absolute warrior. And I'm so grateful that he's with us today. His name is Chris Burgart. If you don't know this freedom-loving patriot, Chris has been a border movie expert. He has done border movies. The one that we're going to share with you right now, a little clip, and then bring Chris in, is Death County and the River of Broken Dreams. Chris is funny because Chris reached out to me and he said, Kim, there's a lot I know on the border, and I would be honored to be able to come on and share. And I really trust God's leadership in what we do. And when Chris reached out, God really put it on my heart that he needs to be with us today. So let's share.
Hey, Chris and I never crossed paths in Hollywood when we worked there, Kim, but I'm
Hang on, Scotty.
glad
We're playing.
I'm glad to cross paths with him today.
Scotty, is that movie up on your side?
Yeah, no audio.
Let's go back. Not sure why that's happening. Let's go back 1 second. Let's stop that share. And it may just be the live stream. So let's go back. And Chris, I'm going to try it one more time because I feel like the audience really needs to listen on into this. It's powerful. Our mic is hot, so the speakers are on. And let's try it one more time. Death County and the River of Broken Dreams. Here we go. Take it from the top and play.
Well, Kim, they're still messing with us.
All right. So
Turn it up.
what we're
Turn
going to
it up.
do is we're just going to pause. Unfortunately, we're not able to see this, but you guys need to all go see Death County or go online and access Death County and the River of Broken Dreams. This was a movie done with Tom Holman. So Chris, I'm going to bring you into the room. That way you can go more in depth. I wish we were able to show this, but for whatever reason, that back end's not working like it normally does. Chris
Kim,
Burghardt, an honor
Kim-
to have you here.
Kim, we could see and hear it the last time you played it. You're not seeing and hearing it, but we are. So when he's done, we can play it.
We'll do that. Chris?
Well, if you guys want to show it, go ahead and show it. Honored to be here. Thank you all for having me. And thanks for letting us put this stream on His glory. It's we love the work that you're doing. The border convoy that you all had, it was great to be a part of that. I just want to make a note that when we did the border convoy, I rode my rope horse in front of the semi trucks as we came into the ranch, the Children's Ranch at Quamato, and people thought that was a crazy thing because we had the His Glory flag, and it's a Christian flag, and CBS News put it on their X account, 1.4 million views, went huge. Who is this? What are they? Because they were sure Christian militias to take down the United States of America. But then when they heard us on stage and we were talking about wanting to defend the border and save the children, all of a sudden they were really silent. And we took the message to Quamato that time about saving the children and put out the facts. And the only networks to pick that up and told that story was networks in China. And I never thought I would live in the United States of America where news would be more free going to China than it was to here. So I want to thank you for y'all putting on that event, because a lot of people don't know, Scott, Kimmy, what you all did. That was the first big event that had a multitude of crowds there since January 6th. Because since January 6th, America was afraid to gather together because they thought they would get arrested. They thought they might get killed. They thought that the operation would be co-opted. And Kim, as you and I know, thanks to some good friends that may or may not be on the show today, stuff was done behind the scenes to stop the people that tried to co-opt your event. And it turned out to be a major success. It was a national event in Texas and Arizona and California. And there were no incidents. People tried, but they didn't. So you all were historic. You all were historic for giving America permission to stand up for the First Amendment again. So I just wanted to point that out before we start talking.
Chris, it went global to 100 million people around the world. We had 100 million impressions. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck, a lot of great people covered it. And thank you. You were a big part of it.
And the people were activated. That's key.
People were activated. I do want to give a shout out to Texas DPS. They worked great with a friend of ours, ex-Special Forces guy that you might know, that behind the scenes to keep us safe down there. They had a drone up above my horse trailer. All 3 days we were down there. So it was just an incredible event. And I just thank you. And thank you for bringing together Mexico and Canada, because people forget how our border situation affects everyone. Folks, what I want to talk about, if y'all haven't seen any, I've had 2 movies play before Congress. Border, back in 2007, which was used to help stop the Bush amnesty push. And then just last summer, Tom Holman and I took our film, Death County and the River of Broken Dreams, and played it for Congress. Now, why that was so important, because in the movie, Death County and the River of Broken Dreams, we laid out how Joe Biden back in 2015 had gone to Central America and basically started a campaign saying, give us your kids. We showed the newspapers, the front page of La Prensa, where Joe Biden was there saying in Spanish, we'll give refugios menores, we'll give refuge to the children. And what he did by going out throughout Central America and saying, give us your kids, and if the kids get here, then the families can get here. They set up a huge multi-billion-dollar operation that was funded by our own State Department, with your American taxpaying dollars, working with foreign agencies, with NGOs, so that when those first caravans back in 2017-18 hit our border under President Trump, that was being paid for and orchestrated by our own State Department. And the reality of what happens because of what they have all done is is that we had over 500,000 unaccompanied children coming to the United States of America in the last 3.5 years. 500,000 children with no parents coming to the United States of America. When we made Death County the River of Broken Dreams, the number is 86,000. Now it's closer to 320,000 of those children have been lost. They don't know where they are. How can something like that happen? Well, under President Trump, you had DNA biometric testing so that when Border Patrol got children, they put them in the fleet seas, the federal detention centers. They come in, they say, hey, I'm here to pick up Jose. I'm here to pick up Maria. I'm their dad. Okay, great. Take a DNA test. If your swab doesn't match that kid, you're not getting that kid. Well, what disappeared under the Biden administration? They stopped those DNA testings. The United States, the federal government of the United States of America, just looking at the data, has become the largest partner in child trafficking that the cartels could have ever asked for. They're making billions more dollars selling humans instead of just drugs. This is the largest child trafficking operation, as far as I know, in the history of the world. Definitely the history of our country. And our administration is complicit in that. So when people say, why is the border this? Why is the border that? It's not a matter of policy. It's not a matter of logistics. It's a matter of will. The border is the way it is because that's how the folks that are in power want it. And that's a tough pill to swallow, but let me just share with you a couple of things. And guys, please break in if you have any questions, because I'd like to lay out what the border journey has been like and then finish off with a call.
Yep, and then we'll finish with the movie. Yep.
Hey, Chris, let me break in real quick. Kim, why don't we bring Chris full screen so everybody could see him nice and big?
Scotty, we're going to keep him right here because we're keeping our logos up.
Okay.
And I'm only 5'8", Scott. I'm not that big, so.
Well, you're beneath us right now and a little small.
You're right here. So here's the cool. Check this out. Wait, hold on. Let's see if we can move him up top.
Yeah, it's all good. Kids, let's
make him bigger. That's the point, Kim.
All right, Chris, come on, bring it.
So back in 2005, I was working in California, my ranch, with some guys that came here illegally building fences, and they told me what had happened in their small village in Mexico, how the cartels had come in, taken over the village. It wasn't safe for his wife, for their daughters to run around town, because if the cartels raped them, the police weren't going to do anything about it. And if you wanted a job in Mexico, you worked for the cartels or you didn't work. It was just that simple. So that led me to go down and spend the next year on the border and do a movie called Border. And that was the first time I'd ever sat with rape victims. And when we brought the news to rape trees, these are trees that when down in our southern deserts and our Texas pastures, that when the coyotes would bring groups over, they take better looking women and they put them under these trees and they rape the heck out of them, whether they had kids, whether their husbands were there. And then to further humiliate these women, they'd have them hang their panties and their bras up in the trees, in the bushes. We first brought that up. We were attacked for saying that. How could that be? We're obviously making this up. Well, over the last 20 years, we've seen that, no, that's something that still continues to this day. And you have to ask yourself, why would folks not want that to be out there? Why wouldn't you want to stop the raping of women, no matter what country they're from? This is just the beginning of the evil that we saw. I'm a dad. And when I sat with the first rape victim down there, she was so broken. She couldn't put a sentence together. It was 80 degrees out. She had a winter coat on. She was shaking like this. She couldn't stop shaking. That woman's going to be damaged for life. And on top of that was the humiliation of admitting what had happened. And when she had been raped, they'd left her. She was also scared. If we hadn't found her, she'd have been dead. A couple weeks later, ran into another rape victim. This girl was maybe 15 years old, and the guy that raped her was maybe 17. It's when there's a huge surge coming through, and the coyotes they were using even just kids. And this kid that raped this woman was so smug. He was just evil. I don't know if you've been around somebody that's possessed by demons, if you've been around someone that's just so evil that you can feel it, the presence hits you. That's what this kid was. And even though he was just a kid, everyone else in this group that we had come across, tracked down, was so scared of this kid because they knew that he was cartel. Even though he was just a kid, if they went against this kid and said what happened to this woman, that their families back in Mexico would be killed. This is the kind of evil that's going on. What's changed in the last 20 years is back in the old days when we were tracking cartel groups coming through the deserts, coming through the pastures, we'd get them. Usually it was dope they were carrying. You know, a lot of times it'd be big square 100-pound bundles of pot, but it would be speed and it would be heroin. Now, when we catch guys or catch the bad guys, it's children. And I can't tell you what it's like. I'll just tell you one story. Coming across the river, I ran into a woman. She had a teenage daughter with her, and then there was a teenager who was another teenager, who was about 15. He was the coyote brought him across the river. And they had like 6 or 7 kids. And this Hispanic woman was carrying a baby like this, and this was an African baby. This was not just a dark-skinned baby. This baby had come up from Africa. And I asked her in Spanish, I said, "Es sus bambino?" And she's like, "Oh, sí." And I said, "No." And she just broke into tears. And the reason she broke into tears is because she knew that I knew what was sitting in store for that baby and how that baby was going to be trafficked. Why are they selling kids? Because when you bring a load of coke over, you can sell the coke one time. Or same thing with heroin. Do a hit of heroin, it's gone. But you can pimp a child out 7 to 10 times a night, and you can keep doing that over and over until that child dies. And that is what's going on in the United States of America. And she knew that I knew that's what was going to be happening to that kid. The other kids she had were between probably 2.5 and maybe 11. No parents, no anything. Those kids have the same fate in store for them. And that woman, she just knew that I knew how evil what she was doing and what she was a part of, that she couldn't take it, and that's why she broke down crying. Folks, I can't tell you what it's like. We have more people in slavery in this country now than we did before the Civil War, and that's just a fact. And this kind of evil, it's going on every single day. And that's not even talking about the people that are dying. I'm tired of picking up dead bodies here in Texas and my buddies' ranches. I've done it too much. If you see Death County, the River Broken Dreams, you'll see Tom and I, we had 3 bodies in one day. And the first one we went to, you see Tom kneeling in the charred dirt where the fire had come through, praying as he's picking up the bones of this illegal alien. This is an evil that is so bad. Now I'm going to tell you one story. There was a couple, I believe they were from Angola. They were from Africa. And they were coming across the Rio Grande, and they had a little baby. She's about 15, 16 months old, from what we can tell. And dad's carrying her on her shoulders like this. Comes across the river. Current hits him. Sweeps him away, sweeps the mom away. Dad dies. Border Patrol comes in with the boat. They save the mom. They get the baby on there. She's unconscious. They get her breathing again. They fly her to the hospital. Flight her out, where she dies. 4 physicians take a look at her. And she had been raped anally and vaginally so many times that there was no longer a divider between her anus and her vagina. And when they went in to investigate with the rest of the folks that had come across in that group, the members said that was part of the price that this couple had paid to the cartels to get the baby across. That, my friends, is more evil than anyone should ever have to face. But talking to the medical examiner that did the examination, this medical examiner said, "Chris, I can't share the information with you on this case because I'm under a gag order from the federal government from way up. I can't talk to you about this case, but I can show you the other 3 children that I have sitting in my morgue right now." The deed is evil. How much more evil is it? There's people in our own government that know that it's going on and put gag orders on American doctors to keep them from being able to talk about it. And why do they do that? Because if America knew how evil the border was under these policies, they would stop it. Make no mistake, we had the most secure border we've ever had in my 20 years of doing this under President Trump. Within hours, the gates on the wall were taken off. Friends of mine that have ranches that have been safe for about 1.5 years, overnight they were overrun with men with AK-47s bringing in loads of drugs. This is evil on purpose to a level that it transcends politics. It transcends national security. It's just evil. And you have to look at what is the result of this and why would this be happening? The border is just not about national security, but it is. National security starts at the border. What you're seeing at the border is just one battle in a larger war that's being waged on America. It's what General Flynn calls fifth generation warfare. Worked with General Jerry Boykin, co-founder of Delta Force for years. There you go. Yep, Boone Cutler and Mike Flynn wrote that book, Citizen's Handbook to Fifth Generation Warfare. I highly suggest everyone get this book and read it, because when you read this book, you'll understand why the border is the way it is. You'll understand why they shut you up during COVID. You'll understand why $14 trillion went from America's middle class and small business to the corporate elite. You'll understand why the vaccine was the most brilliant stroke against the United States military that we've had, even bigger than Pearl Harbor, because they got at the heart by mandating that everyone take the vaccine. And this came from the top. This came from Biden. Yep, the second one. There you go. This came from Biden. Our hardest chargers mustered out. Other ones were court-martialed out. And the folks that stayed, the dirty little secret of America's military right now is that due to vaccine injuries, our ability to respond to a foreign threat has been degraded 23 to 37%. Oh, cool. My wife just walked in. It's really cool. I told her it's a really great event. She needs to see this. My wife has been with me on the border from the early days in 2005. The stuff that she's seen is just women shouldn't have to see that. So my point is, guys, everything they tell you on every media channel is propaganda. It's part of a larger psyop. And here's what you need to do at Thanksgiving. When folks, because it's going to get worse, when Tom Homan starts deporting people, and he's going to give them a period, because the biggest thing you can do is let people self-deport. You cut off the money, and we're not paying squat to veterans. My foster son can't get in the VA when he needs to, and yet we're giving free medical and $2,100 a month and free apartments to illegal aliens that have come over. This needs to stop, and when it does stop, you're going to see a lot of people start self-deporting is what they're going to do. But what you're going to see, they're going to bring up images of families being ripped out of their houses, or kids crying or doing this, and America's going to lose the political will to follow through on this. Here's what you need to do, and you need to do this because the country's counting on you, and also because the folks that have been brainwashed by this propaganda just don't understand. You are the media now. Everybody watching this has been called for such a time as this. God has given us the talents. He's put us in this place because God's not going to let this country go down the tubes when there's a handful of us willing to stand up for it. And that's where we are right now. But good people, you can't blame them. You turn on ABC, CBS, MTV, Netflix, anybody who wants a secure border, they're bad. Anybody that believes in God, they're Christians, or those crazy radical people. This is the time to stand up and just speak the truth. That's how you fight. When we made the movie The War on Truth, we thought it was a war against Christians because the Christians were the ones that were in federal prison waiting 2 years for their trials. And it's not a war just on Christianity, it's a war on truth. And as Christians, we're all called to stand up and speak the truth.
That's right.
You watch Death Counting the River and Broken Dreams. You watch the movie Border. You watch any of J.J. Carroll and Ryan movies. Those guys are on it. You know the truth. You now have a responsibility. You are called by God to stand up for the truth. Yes. So when you're sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner with your loved ones, watching football, if they talk about the border, if they bring it up, and Trump's going to be separating children. Trump, remember, it was Obama that built the cages. Okay, it wasn't Trump. Mm-hmm. And it was Obama that sent Biden down there to start tearing the families apart. And when you watch Death Counting the River Broken Dreams, you'll see all this in there. It's all laid out. It's all documented. And you'll even see how way back then they were telling people, remember, it's the Democrats that brought you across. But this is more than a Democrat-Republican issue. We've had the Senate and the House under many administrations. They've never fixed the border. I used to be on a certain conservative network a lot because of all the work we were doing on the border. And off camera once, one of the producers asked me, well, we can never secure the border. I said, oh, absolutely you can. In 30 to 60 days. Just let the sheriff's departments and let the states and Border Patrol do what they're supposed to do. And then you cut off the money going to Washington, D.C. And got producers like, what are you talking about? Right. You do a forensic financial audit on the money that's coming to the cartels, uncover the shell companies, and you look and you see you do an audit of members of Congress, of our administrations, of the media, and their families, you cut that money off and you'll secure the border in a heartbeat. I wasn't on this network for another 16 years after saying that. That's the reality, because they knew we'd stepped in it. So when you're just sitting down at the table, you know, people talk about the border and, oh, Trump's so mean, he's deporting families. Just look at them and say, do you love children?
Come on, Chris. Come on.
Do you care about children? Because in the last 4 years, over 320,000 children have been handed over to child traffickers. 320,000
reality. So, Chris, we're gonna hold that right there, only because of time. Chris, I thank you so much for blessing us today with this information, for telling, just even giving us your movies, which we can utilize as tools, right? The power of the real story. Let the people make their own decisions based upon the information that we're presenting them by bringing these stories to light. So, Chris, what we're going to do right now is we're going to share Death County and the River of Broken Dreams. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to give me a thumbs up when it finishes, because on my end, for whatever reason, it's not showing today. So you guys give me a thumbs up when it's finished. And Chris Burgart, thank you so much for being that stand for the children, the stand for closing our border, and the stand for restoring our nation. God bless you. Death County and the River of Broken Dreams.
And you can see the whole movie at hisglory.tv.
Hisglory.tv. Here we go.
What I love about Chris's method of bringing it to the table is asking questions, not tackling the difficult subject of human trafficking.
Our southern border is in chaos. United.
I think someone's messing with your internet speeds.
Yeah, we're getting messed with, Kim. No doubt they're still
you guys can't see that. Okay.
Well, so let's Alinsky this. Let's flip-flop back. Obviously, you're over the target, or you wouldn't be having all these never before seen technical problems.
That's
Someone's messing with you. We know that. So take that time while we're watching the spinning wheel of death. Folks, you can go see the whole movie at hisglory.tv. God bless you guys for what you're doing. Thank you. Keep doing it. I can't wait to see what you do next. And just thank you so much for standing up for this country and for the children.
We love you, Chris. Thank you for
Chris.
standing with us. We love you so much. And thank you. Full circle, Chris. You started with us in the beginning and you're finishing with us. So let's continue to take this country back.
God bless.
Thank you, Chris. You're a great warrior. Great warrior, Chris. Thank you.
Wow, Scotty, so powerful. We really now have some tools to bring to the table. So hisglory.tv, we've had tools all along to bring to the table, but these are the kind of things that maybe after Thanksgiving dinner, you guys go, hey, let's watch a couple of movies. There's some new information that we've become privy to, and we want to share this with you. That in the power of story. Oh my gosh, go back and listen to this again, guys. And you want to be able to share these stories. Now, Scotty, we have a whole back room of people waiting to come on in because we got hit with everything shutting down this morning because we're absolutely over the target. We're a little bit behind. What I want to do right now is I want to bring in our warrior, Brett Rayo. Brett Rayo's song, The 11th Hour. I don't even know if we're going to be able to play that today, but we're going to bring Brett in. And what Brett's going to do is Brett is going to at least tell us in a couple of minutes, the power of that song, where people can access it, and how we can bring the message to our Thanksgiving table. Brett Rayo, welcome to
How's it going?
Pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back. God bless you,
doing,
too.
Brett?
How's it
How are
going,
you, buddy?
How's it going? Doing well, you?
Very well, thank you, sir. God bless.
Amen. God bless you both.
So, Brett, you have a song that is a pretty powerful song. It's called 11th Hour. You've played this for President Trump, right? And it is so impactful, and the messaging in it is very awakening. You do not hold back. It is powerful. Amen. Everyone's got to listen into this song. So, Chris, tell us how we can, someone in your generation, you're 20 years old. That's amazing. How do we bring these topics to our neighbors, our friends, and our families without fire hosing them?
Yeah, well, that song 11th Hour was made for Trump's, what was it called? It was the faith leaders meeting that he had in North Carolina.
We were there.
Recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And Clay Clark hosted that event. We made that song for the event, and powerful song. It's just ultimately, we have this grace period by God's grace with Trump in office. We have a certain amount of time. A lot of people think things are just going to be amazing moving forward. I'm not so sure that that's the case. But that being said, we have some time right now to do God's will and affect change however God leads us to do that. And so we have to take it seriously and take it as a time for repentance, to get in line with God's will and to walk forward in his calling for our lives. And if we do that, there will be change, even if it doesn't just go up from here on out. I believe we're in the last days. So, things are going to happen in the last days. That's prophesied. Things will come to pass. But that being said, we can all do our part to make a change and to do God's will for our lives. And if we do that and we go and shine our light, Matthew 5:14, as Bishop Leon was saying earlier, if we do that, amen. Yep, absolutely. If we go put our light on a candlestick and go shine our light so that our Father in heaven is glorified, shine our light before men, and be unashamed at the Thanksgiving table. That's how we get the victory. Like, we don't have to worry about, a lot of people don't want to talk about politics or this or that. Don't want to talk about religion, but you don't have to talk about religion. Talk about Jesus. If you have a relationship with him, it's not about a religion of man. It's about knowing Jesus and knowing your creator. He made us in his image. He's calling us with a powerful purpose right now. We are born for such a time as this. And so we shouldn't hide our light, and we shouldn't be ashamed of him before men. Otherwise, he'll be ashamed of us before our Father in heaven. So it's only right that we are vocal, loud, raise our voice like trumpets in these last days to bring Jesus glory and obey his word and his calling on our lives, because if we do that, we have victory and we have nothing to fear, no matter what happens on this earth. So
come on. Did you hear that, Scotty? Raise our voice like trumpets. That's exactly what Brett is doing in this song and what we're all doing.
No pun intended, Brett. And when we're done here, I'd like you to speak to my 17 and 8-year-old daughter and her friends. Give them one quick word of advice through your generation, whether it's generation Y or Z, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But speak to those that are 17, 18, 19, and 20 when we come back from your song.
Praise the Lord.
All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to play 11th Hour by Brett Rayo. So here we go, guys. This is an amazing song. We're going to attempt it again. This has all been working. We've gone over this over and over. We are hard lined in. So we've been hit today, but I'm going to cancel that right now in the name of Jesus. 11th Hour, Brett Rayo. Let's see if it plays.
No.
The 11th hour for the
coming up. Is it coming up? Is it coming up? All right. So we are challenged on this end. That's okay.
Brett, they do not like your Christian morals and values. You're a man of God, and they don't want you to play your song because you know what? It's in the face of the satanic cabal.
And we need to go and listen to this song.
Amen. Yeah, too powerful, but by God's grace, we all have the ability to supersede the enemy, to get the victory. So that song is called 11th Hour by Brett Rayo. My name, BRETTRAIO. So if you go look it up on YouTube, it's on YouTube and every other platform.
There it is. His link is right here. YouTube.com/she/Brett Rayo. Guys, go listen to 11th Hour and share it with your teenager, share it with your friends, your family. Brett, we love you. God bless you. It was so fun being over the Rio Grande with you at our Texas Take Our Border Back. We were declaring, we were praying, and we were celebrating victory. So we love you, my brother.
Brett, don't leave yet. I want you to say a few words to the teenage girls and boys out there that you're a great role model for. Please speak to them.
Praise the Lord. I think the simplest answer is, it's very easy when you're a teenager to care about what people think, care about man's opinions, and be so concerned about losing friends and this and that. But Jesus says, if you want to save your life, you'll lose it. But if you lose your life, then you'll save it. So, I mean, this life is temporary. Everything on this earth is temporary, but ultimately our lives are eternal. And we have to choose where we're going to spend it, heaven or hell. And Jesus is the only way to heaven. He says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. So ultimately, we got to choose to get right with God and choose the eternal things over the temporary worldly things that only last a few seconds and then they're gone like a blink of an eye, like a drop in the ocean. So basically, I think the simplest advice is to only care about God's opinion. Don't worry about what men say or what men think or their opinions. Only care about God's opinion. If he's pleased with you, then if the whole world's against you, it doesn't matter. And if he's displeased with you, then you got to repent. and you got to, ask him what you can do to get right with him, make some changes in your life, and just make sure God's pleased with you, because that's all that matters. You could have 7 billion people against you and saying you're wrong, but if God says you're in the right, then you're okay. So just only care about what God thinks. Most importantly, I think that's ultimately like the most important thing. Jesus says the first and second greatest commandments. The first greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. And if you're only concerned with what God thinks about you, then you will be doing both of those things, because, that's God's will for your life. If you're only concerned with what he thinks, but if you're concerned with what men think about you, it will turn you into somebody you're not called to be. You'll start to change to please men. And, men have many different opinions. And if you wanted to please men, you wouldn't be able to use one word out of the English dictionary, because someone is going to be offended. And but at the end of the day, only worry about pleasing God, and you will be blessed, and you will be able to accomplish your calling from God and go forward in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Praise the
Scotty,
Lord.
is that powerful? That
Yeah,
is a word,
want-
not only for our teenagers, but for
Amen.
every single one of us.
Hey, Kim, I want my darling daughter, Skylar, who I think is listening, to pay attention to Mr. Brett Rail. Thank you, Brett, for those great words.
Thank you, Brett. We love you. God bless
Praise
you
the
guys.
Lord.
Go listen to
Love you
11th
guys.
Hour. You can find Brett's music on youtube.com/Season Charlie/Brett Rayo, RAIO. Brett, Godspeed, and we'll see you on the other side.
Say hello to Charlie
Amen.
Carboni, Brett.
I love it. Okay, Scott, I wish we could pull up these videos, because we had it all planned out, but it's okay. We're trusting the process. Yeah. We're pivoting, because we've all got to learn how to powerfully pivot in times like this. Our next speaker up is Matt Geiger. Matt is a dear friend of all of us. He is our sponsor for this event. We wanted to make sure that Matt had an opportunity to come on in, even for just a couple of minutes, and share how we can take our power back from the deep state and really protect what God has given us. So Matt is an expert in providing clients with invaluable guidance and support in purchasing gold, silver, platinum, palladium. His specialty is with 401k and IRA account conversions to precious metals. Verity Metals LLD is headquartered in Glendale, Arizona, yet provides service to every state in our great country. Today, Matt is going to show us how to take our power back and get our money out of the deep state's hand. I just did a show with him that went out last week. You got to listen to it on takeyourpowerbackshow.com. Without further ado, we're going to bring Matt Geiger, our sponsor, veritymetals.com. Matt Geiger, welcome to
What's going on, guys?
Take our border back.
Good to see you. What's up, Scotty?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Just been here, throttling the internet, just making sure these videos can't play.
Thank you for your support, brother. We appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Of course.
And thank you on the back end, Matt, for giving me thumbs up, show me it's playing, it's not playing. I mean, we haven't gone through this, so I just want to put this across the screen. Verity Metals! Come on, Matt, bring it. I mean, here's the deal. All I know is when we have a financial advisor, Matt, and when my husband, we have paper gold, right? So, but when we were able to tap into you, it gives us access to physical gold and silver. There are local depositories that we can access it, even though you're in Arizona. So, and we have the personal connection, and everybody that taps in gets you as their personal connection to make sure they're taken care of and provided for. So Matt, tell us a little bit about Verity Metals and why it's so important to even bring this conversation to our Thanksgiving table.
Sure, you probably sit there like, oh, geez, another gold company. But no, we're actually very different. I'm a little, mom and pop's gold shop here in Glendale, right? I have inventory on site. We're not some big call center. Everybody deals with me. And
Matt, I got to tell you something. Dr. Frank is in the back room. He's holding up all his gold and silver from you right now, just so you know.
Yes, some of your speakers happen to also be clients. Dr. Frank is an amazing guy, and what he's doing for the country and for the election system it's unbelievable. So shout out to Dr. Frank. But we're different because especially when it comes to IRAs, 401ks. I mean, we have all the physical here. You can come see us in person if you're in town. But what I do very differently than all these, you see all these big gold companies advertise, most of them out of LA. Who the hell wants to do business with companies out of LA? First off. But we do very unique storage options. So what you can even do is you can create an LLC and do what's called a checkbook IRA. And what that does is that enables somebody. I have a client right now. She's got a credit union down the street. She knows the bankers there. She could just store her gold right in their vaults, right down the street. We can do that for somebody. It doesn't have to be in some, vault across the country. Right. So the way we structure it and sort of the time and effort that we put in for people, it's a completely different ballgame. And I think that's important because, we're sitting here, we're taking down the deep state. Right. And when people really internalize that and understand that, it's so important that you have access to that gold and silver, right? That's really the key. You don't own it unless you hold it. So what I do differently than every single company out there is that I give the person, if they want to hold it themselves, right? There's ways of doing that, right? So that's why I tell people, call me, we can discuss the different options. And yeah, if you just want a simple gold and silver purchase shipped to your doorstep, we do that too.
I love it. Matt, you are a game changer. We've been waiting for quite some time to make the decision because we haven't found somebody yet that when you know it in your gut, you're like, okay, I can trust this person. They are their word. We trust their organization. You've been vetted. 107. We know a lot of people on the back end who you've been highly vetted by. We've broken bread together. We've had some great steaks together. We're going to have some more great steaks together. But here's the most important thing is that right now, if things were to go down, we need to be shored up and people need to have their gold and silver in hand. So our 401k, we're taking our 401k, our IRAs, Matt is making sure that we're taken care of. So we want you guys to be taken care of. And Matt, thank you from the bottom of our heart for sponsoring our pre-Thanksgiving Take Our
love
Border
doing it.
I have a question for Matt.
Sure.
Matt, my sense is the financial reset and the death of the fiat currency is around the corner. How much time do people have to get this done with you?
Good question, Scotty.
I don't like to create a false sense of urgency. I don't like to be the guy that says, hey, the world, the sky's falling. I think what you're seeing right now with Trump's picks, Gates, stepping down, these different people, they're all getting pushed back. They're dropping the crazy, fake news articles on him. You can see what's about to come down. They're not going to just let Trump get into office. I will call it here. I don't think Trump enters office on January 20th. I don't. I think they're going to keep pushing it back, just disrupt. They're going to pull out every trick in the book. Why? Because these people's lives are on the line. They're going to prison. So you got to figure it's not so much that I would say, look at the stock market. Let's say somebody has an IRA, 401k, it's invested in stock, bonds, mutual funds, etc. The urgency there is that why is the market going up right now? Why is crypto going up right now? It's all the confidence of Trump coming into office. Well, once they start pushing back on Trump and he doesn't get in on the 20th, what's that going to do? It's going to erode the confidence. And that erosion of confidence should push down the market and it should push up gold and silver prices because of what? Uncertainty. So I would say, it's better to be, I don't want to put an exact time on it, but I would say it's better to be ahead of the curve and be preemptive and get it done sooner rather than later. Because as I always tell people, it's not that gold's price or silver's price is going to be prohibitive. It's that once the big money starts to see what's really going on, when that money comes off the sidelines and realizes, hey, we need gold and silver to protect our money, where are you going to get gold and silver, right? It might be very hard to get your hands on it. So that's why I tell people, get it done just as soon as possible. That would be the real sense of urgency, is really just your ability to get it.
Well, you heard it, Scotty. It's time. It's time to make sure that we're all shored up. You guys can access Matt Geiger. Call him and he will take care of you. 480-717-9081. It's veritymetals.com. That's veritymetals.com. So, Matt, I am just so excited for our partnership with Take Our Border Back, and so grateful for your willingness to just come on board. And you're like, you know what? I've been standing with you guys from the beginning. I'm going to stand with you guys to the very end. So thank you for that. Now, I do know that Jan Harper Hayes is not in the room at this time. Jan Halper Hayes is not in the room at this time. And she's having some challenges of getting on. So I've been working with her on the back end while I'm listening in for the past 20 minutes. So we may not have her on till later. So if you stick around, I might pull you on because I know you have a question for her. Do you want to leave us with what that question is now? That way Jan might be able to answer it when she's on.
I think it's more, I mean, we could put it in the format of a question, but I think she made a very interesting comment in that very famous interview on Great Britain News.
Yes.
I think it was August of 2023. And you could go to like the Gateway Pundit, type her name in, Jen Halper Hayes, and you'll get that interview. But she said very interestingly, she said that when Trump went to the Vatican back in 2018, he called in 650 planes to bring the U.S. gold out of the Vatican, right? We never heard about that in 2018, right? It seemed to me, why is Trump getting all the gold back? Probably because we're going back to some type of gold-backed currency. It's probably going to be multiple metals. It's probably going to be gold, silver, maybe even platinum, maybe palladium. But it's very indicative that clearly Trump was doing operations that we never heard about. We only found out from Jan, a little over a year ago. So I thought that was very interesting that she.
Multiple sources have confirmed that, Matt, that indeed Trump left the Vatican, called in 650 jumbo jet American planes, and they brought the gold back. And they're somewhere in the mountains, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I think here in the country, they found massive lithium mines recently. The Grand Canyon's chock full of gold. I mean, we have literally all the natural resources under our feet. It's just the politicians have been hiding them from us our entire lives. We never knew this stuff, right? And what they do is they create national parks over the gold mines so no one can get the mining rights. So we have tremendous amount of wealth in this country, and it's going to be, even just gold and silver aside, oil, all these other minerals and stuff like that. It's going to be unbelievable when we start tapping into this stuff. I mean, the wealth that we're sitting on right now is just it's probably in the quadrillions of dollars. It's exciting.
It is a very exciting time to be alive. There is possibility that's present. Matt Geiger, veritymetals.com. Matt, we love you. God bless you. Jen is working on getting in. So we're going to bring that. We're going to actually talk a little bit about that as well today. So guys, support Matt Geiger. He is our sponsor for the pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Summit. And Matt, thank you so much for being a stand for freedom.
Thank you.
So
Happy
long,
Thanksgiving.
Matt. Take care, buddy.
All right. We love you. And without further ado, guys, again, veritymetals.com. Now we're a little out of the order, but it's okay. Who we're going to pull up next is a dear friend and of both Scotty and myself. And Scotty and I say often that we would be in his foxhole and have him in our foxhole. His name is Dr. Douglas G. Frank. He is a world-renowned physicist, exposes election fraud in 46 states. He is the reason why we created Take Our Elections Back. Scotty and I have been working closely together, Mark Istratoff and Take Our Elections Back, for quite some time. And Scotty, are we ready to bring him in? What do you think?
Yeah, Kim, he is indeed the smartest guy I know. So let's bring him on.
I love it. All right. Doug, so good to see you.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm so glad you had Mike Geiger on. Because I'm prepared.
Yes, you are.
I think I have a good friend who lives in southern Kentucky, and she says, and her husband, he says, when it all goes down, is the phrase he uses. When it all goes down, you got to be ready. And I think silver would be a good currency. Also, ammunition would be a good currency. Okay. And so I think being prepared, I mean, what's the worst you can do? Be prepared,
Right.
Have your ammunition, have your silver, have your food, have your water. What's the worst thing that can happen? You're prepared. Okay. The best is what I don't want to be is a year from now. I don't want to be, not able to feed my family or I don't want to be saying, gee, all my friends told me to get prepared and I didn't listen to them. That would just be stupid. So anyway, that's why I'm doing it. And the nice thing about owning actual physical currency is that a physical metal is that it never is worth zero. Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Frank, Haggai 2:8, the gold and silver are mine, said the Lord.
Oh, yep.
Yep, very good. So anyway, I was so glad to see Matt's on. He's a good guy. I met him in Florida at an event there, and I think he and I are going to be good friends going forward. Hey, it's good to be with you. I prepared some slides to and if you want to put them up, you can. But they should play because you're not hosting them on your computer. Do you see them there in the back room?
Yeah. Let's pull them up.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, that's great.
Love it. Come on,
and,
Doc.
and so the thing that's super important is people need to know that the election right now, if you listen to what's happening in the country in the election, you're going to hear lots of false information. Okay. And so it's important that people know what the facts are so that they know how to prepare. So one of the things that I'm trying to tell people, and Matt even alluded to it, and that is that just because Trump won the election doesn't mean the war is over. And I liken it to that we've just taken the shores of Normandy. Okay, so now that we've got Normandy, now we took our little break. You have a little celebration, but now we got to get to Berlin, and our main work is ahead of us. You had Chris on before him talking about the border. Okay, are you kidding? We have got major battles ahead, and one of them is going to be our elections. They need to be fixed because there's, even though Trump won the top of the ticket, there's all this down ballot stuff. I'm working around the country with teams right now with elections that people think, oh, Trump won, everything must be good. We got huge problems. And so I've been dealing with that. But that's just like the immediate battle. We've got a long-term battle as Trump is going to be pushing the states to go to manual elections without the machines. But I got to tell you, the Constitution is quite clear on this. And I've got a copy of my Constitution here. The Constitution is quite clear on this. President Trump doesn't get to decide how states run their elections. States decide how states run their elections. So the problem is if you're waiting for Trump to fix it, if you're waiting for the legislature to fix it or the Congress to fix it, you're crazy. You're operating under a faulty assumption, which is why I've been going around teaching everybody the 7. By the way, I labeled them to make it easy. But you'll notice something about the Democrat turnout. The turnouts follow a trend, except twice. First, there's a discontinuity right at when they added HAVA. That's when we went to electronic machines. That's an important thing. People always say, well, Dr. Frank, what did our elections look like before machines? Well, there it is right there. There's a huge jump suddenly right at right where the machines were added. The other thing is that there are two anomalies where in the Democrat turnouts, once in the first term of Obama and once with the Obama first term. And so people say, well, gee, why do you suspect the election in 2020? Well, look at that anomaly. It's a huge anomaly, but it's not the only one. And it's one of the things I keep telling people, this is election manipulation is not new. It's been going on since the 90s. I've got all the math to prove that. We don't have time for that today, but I just want to set the record straight. And so people say, well, gee, how did Trump win then? I know what it must be. It must be because the GOP was out there ballot harvesting and the GOP was out there chasing ballots and registering people to vote. Wrong. And I told people back in March of 2024 that even if the Republicans did a fabulous job ballot harvesting, the most they'd be able to increase the election would be about 3%. And guess what? That's what happened. So guess what the Republican Party delivered? They said, we're going to go out and harvest like crazy. Well, guess what? They got their 3%. But notice that 3% wouldn't have been enough if Kamala had been a good candidate and they had stuffed ballots like they did in 2020. So I was telling everybody that's the wrong strategy. We really need to address the election. But fortunately for us, Kamala was a horrible candidate. So that made that fixable, but that's only the top of the ticket. But I just wanted people to get a feeling. I mean, basically, Kamala didn't get 10 million votes that Biden would have. If Biden had been a good candidate, he could have gotten. So anyway, that's that. Now, I just wanted to set that record straight. Now, the next thing people need to realize is just because Trump has the House, 312, he has the House. Sorry, the Senate. He got 53 of the senators, and he's got 219 in the House. Just because of that doesn't mean he's got a free ride. He had even more in 2016. He had like 240 in the House. And if you remember the first 2 years Trump was in office, it was not, he was unable to accomplish anything. The problem is our Congress, and I've made this graph. What this graph is it shows across the bottom, it shows how constitutionally our Congress members of Congress vote. What we want is we want everybody voting over here to the right, 100%, where they support the Constitution. What I've done is I've gone back and I've got the voting record for every one of our congressmen, our senators, and our congressmen, and notice that the Republicans don't even vote. These red dots don't vote consistently with the Constitution a huge part of the time. So, in other words, just because we have Trump at the top, and just because many of our congressmen have R's in front of their name, doesn't mean that this is a slam dunk. It's going to come right back to the local level, which is the argument I've been making now for 4 years. We have to address this at the local level. And just to set the record straight, I know this is a busy looking graph, but what it did is for every state, I showed you how many Republicans voted for the president in 12 elections. So each one of these is a group of 12 elections. So if you look at this, you'd say, oh, gee, Republican votes are going up in every state. That's great. You know, that's the first third. Here's the second third. Although some of our states even went down between the two elections. But you can see these are groups of 12 for every state. I just wanted you to see the trend in every state. So in other words, the number of ballots is going up. And I've done the same thing with the Democrats. But look, the Democrats, the number of ballots are going up too. So the question is, which ballots are going up faster? That's going to decide what's happening. And so what I did is I took the ratio, and I did it for every state in the country. And I put these graphs up on my social media so anybody can look at it. So anybody who thinks, okay, Trump won, he's our savior, the country's saved, we can relax now, wrong. For example, here, Alabama, these are the ratios for the 12 elections. In Alabama, yeah, Trump, the Republican candidates are gaining momentum, but Alaska, no. Colorado, no. Anything going down? Idaho, you think, come on, Idaho's conservative. Nope, going down. Indiana, starting to fade. Iowa, maybe holding steady. But in other words, the Republican to Democrat ratio is going down in almost, and that's Kansas. I just showed you is going down state after state after state, and I've shown you all of them. So in other words, people think, oh, the Republicans are in control. We've got the wrong Republicans, and and the trend is not good. So we need to wake up as a country. So I've got those graphs so everybody can get their own state. Go to my social media, and you can download and look at yourself. And as you know, Kim, I've been preaching the 7 steps. Yep. We got to win. You have to form a local team. Think of this like a war. Remember, I used the war analogy with Normandy.
That's right. That's right.
If you want to win the war, you don't win the war with a sniper. You don't win the war with a general. You don't win the war with a tank. You have to have infrastructure. You have to have strategy. You have to have an army. And to build that is not just one excited patriot. We have to get together. We have to organize. So basically, that's the 7 steps. And that's not what this talk is about today.
And Doug, you know what? Let me throw this out there. Guys, on our takeourborderback.com resource page, so takeourborderback.com, you're going to find all the resources that all of our speakers this past year have brought to the table with all of the tools that you need to take your power back on a local level. This is one of the tools that we have implemented and take our elections back in teams across the entire country.
Yes. Well done. That's good. And I'm happy to work.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
Okay. That was Trump in his inauguration in 2017. Okay. That was our first real opportunity we've had in quite a while for the people to rise up and take their power back. He's basically saying right there that his administration was going to be focused on returning power to the people. But guess what, folks? We were all asleep. We all went back. Oh, Trump's going to fix it. We can go and do what we want. Now is our second chance. And it may be our last chance. Folks, we got to step up. We got to remember that we are an experiment in self-government. America is about us, and we have to take back control of our elections away from the other folks. So that's the end of my presentation.
Come on. Doug Frank, thank you so much for being with us. You always bring the truth so that we can see it. You give us a visual. People can follow you by actually emailing you, right? So what's the best email for you?
Yeah, Dr. Douglas G. Frank at outlook.com. Dr. Douglas, Douglas, G like George, Frank, Frank, Dr. Douglas G. Frank at outlook.com. And, you know, I'm on just about every social media, so you can look me up and find my graph.
Dr. Frank,
yeah, what's up,
Scotty? Please don't go. I believe you were the one who was able to show Tina Peters the light of day with respect to the election fraud. And I just want to give Tina a good old shout out. We love her.
Yes.
And we miss her. And the injustice, she was thrown in prison to be made an example of, so that county clerks around the country say, I don't want to get Tina Peters.
That's what they say. I hear it all the time, and they're afraid. When I bring fraud to bear in a county, the clerks, the blood drains from their face, and they look at me and like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be Tina Peters." It's
God bless her. God bless her.
We love Tina, and we're praying for Tina. We all need to be praying and standing for Tina Peters. Doug Frank, we just love you so much. Thank you. We are going to take this information to our Thanksgiving tables. Godspeed, my brother. And without further ado, we are going to bring in our dear friend, Jan Halper Hayes. For those of you who do not know Jan Halper Hayes, I got to tell you, she is an absolute rock star. She is a warrior for freedom. She has been around for sometimes speaking truth to people. She's a political and corporate psychologist providing insights into political leadership and their political games. I have never laughed so hard in spending time with her at our Take Our Border Back time in Texas than I did. I mean, I needed those laughs. She is amazing. Now, Jan, I'm going to pull her in, but it's looking like your devices are not connected. So I've been trying to work with Jan on the back end. So Jan, until those devices are connected, I can't pull you into the room. So there's a setting where you can put on. All right, she just popped out. So hopefully she's going to come back in. Without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Patrick Byrne. It's after midnight, his time, you guys, where he's at right now. Patrick Byrne is an absolute warrior. Scotty and I have had the privilege of interviewing Patrick. He is the one who's known for honeypotting Hillary Clinton. He is the one who has exposed the global agenda and the fraud. He has just put together, Matt Thayer, the team's The Enemy Within movie. I just had the privilege of interviewing him. If you haven't seen it, go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. We want to pull Patrick into this call right now, specifically because Patrick has a word for us today on how to take these tough topics to our Thanksgiving table, to the conversations with our friends, our families, and our loved ones, so they do not remain the turkey of the deep state. Patrick Byrne, come on in.
Hey, Kim, Patrick will be on my show Saturday, the coming Saturday up. Full hour show with Patrick Byrne. He talks about how he set up Hillary Clinton in a deep state bribe and how he got in the middle of Barack Obama's coup. He is a unique man and has a very interesting perspective nobody has, because nobody's been an asset and been used to.
Yes.
And he did it for his country. He's a true patriot.
Come on. Now, Patrick is in the room with us right now, Scotty. Now, Patrick, can you hear us?
I don't see him, Kim.
Okay, so we're gonna do something right now. So I can see him in the back room, right? But he's having some connection challenges.
Oh, there.
So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna call Patrick, and we're gonna play the game that we played the other day.
There he is.
Oh, Patrick. Yes, can you hear me? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to mute Patrick, and Patrick, we're going to do what we did the other day. So we're going to bring you into a phone call right now so that people can hear you. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Patrick Byrne.
Hello, Kim Yater. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. So stand by. I'm going to put you to the speaker. That way people can hear you.
But you can't see me. Is that the case?
We can see you. You're frozen, but we see your beautiful face.
Well, my advice with Thanksgiving dinner is to remember something Eleanor Roosevelt said. She said, "Great minds speak of ideas. Average minds speak of events. Weak minds speak of people." And that, if you make your Thanksgiving dinner about, let me turn this down here.
Yeah,
If you make your Thanksgiving dinner about, oh, I think Donald Trump's great. Well, I hate Donald Trump. Well, I think he's great. Well, I think you're not going to get anywhere. Instead, you talk about ideas. The idea is consent of the governed. Consent of the governed. When did we, the governed, consent to having 20 or 30 million military-age men brought into our society? We never did. That's the analysis. Begins and ends right there. You don't have to get into the policy of it. You don't have to get into the event. It's just the idea is consent of the governed is the most fundamental principle. And we didn't agree to that. And you know what? The consent of the governed is measured in elections that are free, fair, and transparent. I would say we're not doing such a great job on that, but we're doing a better job. And we're doing a better job because of the grassroots movement that erupted in the last 4 years. It was enough to save the republic. So stick with ideas and get people to agree on the ideas. And especially the most fundamental one is consent of the governed. And you don't have to get into arguments about what's the right policy with LGBTQ or what's the right policy at the border, blah, blah. The main event is we, the government, never consented to this. That's the analysis, open and shut.
So good. Scotty, what do we say to that?
Yeah, Patrick, it's so powerful. And thank you for joining us today. You always have something. I think you always leave me with a golden nugget or two, Patrick. That is a premise, consent of the governed, that none of our awake friends and family, the people that stop returning our calls and stop inviting us to dinner, none of them can argue when you ask them, when did we consent to 20 to 30 million illegal military age men in this country? They cannot come back with an answer other than agree with us.
Right. They want to. Can you hear me now over your show?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now on your show?
Yeah.
We hear you, Patrick.
I found the problem. Well, they didn't agree. And so it's better to argue that way and not to get into an argument about, well, who's going to do these jobs and this and that. What should the right policy be? Before you even get to what the right policy should be, the only really argument that matters is, well, we didn't agree to this policy. The consent did not agree, and that's the analysis. And the worst place to go is trying to beat people into loving Donald Trump. Well, no, you hate him. Well, I love him. You're not going to, let's not talk about people. The more we talk about people, although if it gets on the people thing at this point, it's pretty clear that whatever they throw at Donald Trump, they are 10 times worse. That's the other thing. Hold your base, be based. Remember that the only thing these folks have is gaslighting and hypocrisy. So anything they throw, as I explained to you, I tricked Obama. Well, I ran a little trick on Obama that I walked you both through. And I made him do something that was far worse than Donald Trump's ever been accused of. So anything they throw at you about Donald Trump, you can point out how their outrage is so selective. It's so selective. But that's really going low. Try to keep the conversation elevated and keep it with the idea of ideas. It's about great minds speak of ideas, average minds speak of events, weak minds speak of people.
I love that, Patrick. And here's the thing. I want to encourage everybody to get The Enemy Within. I think it's $4 right now. You can access it online. The link is right here, enemywithin.ref/REF/51/power, because it's about taking our power back. And I'll tell you what, it is one of the best docu-series I have ever seen. I laughed and I cried and I was moved. It was so well done. That moment from you're in the front seat of the car and you're looking like at the movie as it's going on, Patrick, is the coolest moment in that show. So I am so excited that you have taken your time out to make this, and thank you for being with us in the wee hours of the night.
Hey, Kim, Patrick's movie is the best depiction and connecting of the dots of the deep state, how they operate, how the apparatchik operates, and how it all moves forward. And Patrick was right there in the middle of it. How many people, and tease us, Patrick, got to set up HRC with a bribe. Just a little tease before the movie.
He is 100% frozen at this time.
Wow.
So I think his internet is down.
Don't want
Patrick,
him
you
to
there?
speak, Kim.
Okay, so so Patrick, one, we're going to say thank you for all you do, and guys, go and see The Enemy Within. And guys, it's incredible. You want to know what's really going on, what's been going on behind the scenes of our government? You want to see this movie, The Enemy Within. Enemy Within, docuseries.com/REF/51/power. So Patrick Byrne, we love you. God bless you. God speed, and we'll see you on the other side. And Scotty, guess who's in the back room? And she's connected. Jan.
Is it Jan?
Jan Halper Hayes.
Yeah.
Jan Halper
Let's give
Hayes
her
in
a
the back
hug.
room. We're
Bring
going
her
to
in
pour
so we can
in.
hug on her.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. So let me just run this by people again. She is a political and corporate psychologist providing insights into political leadership and their political games. She is a warrior. Jan Halper Hayes, welcome to the pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Summit.
Kim, when I
It's
met
nice
her
to see you,
oh,
Kim.
hi,
Hey,
Jen. When I met you
Scotty. How are you, love?
when I met you in Texas, I had been watching your work for years, and particularly the work you were doing for the Department of Defense. And when I met you, I knew you as this stoic, very rational, very practical, articulate woman delivering messages, dropping bombs, and dropping lots of good golden nuggets on YouTube and Rumble.
Yes.
And then I met you, and I turned around and said, "Who the hell is this angel in the room?"
She's a ball of joy. That's exactly who you are.
I
Jan.
have always appreciated that about you. The only thing I care about, and even for the years that I watched pundits before God gave me this grace of being able to join the ranks of pundits, I used to be shouting at them, "You don't have the facts right. Get those facts right. You have to be exact right if you're going to give people information." And that, to me, has been the remaining and ongoing stress of my life, to make sure that whatever I say can be backed up, because I don't ever want people to just take my word. I want them to think for themselves. And I have been so encountered since this election of people who don't have their own mind. And I feel for them. My heart breaks for them because they haven't been learned to think for themselves. But moving on, I'm always challenged when organizers ask me to speak about a particular subject. And Kim asked me to speak about 5G warfare. I have to tell you, I have not a clue. I know people and really friends who have gone to the workshops and everything. But what I can speak about is understanding PsyOps. And
that's what I wanted you to speak about right there.
More important.
Yes.
So first, let's think about an onion. And yesterday, Tisha Lee and I did a space on X and had an incredible speaker. And someone came up with the metaphor of onion. It was a little different from mine, so I'm going to add my component to it. When you have an onion, it's no different than finding the truth, because you got that thick layer that you got to get off. What he left out was the fact you got to get rid of the slime before you get to the next thick layer of the onion. And that is a metaphor of what we have been struggling with. So when I was asked to deal with PsyOps, I started thinking about that. How do I figure them out? How do I think about them? And if you think about gaslighting, because the Democrats are A+ at that, and gaslighting is basically, you see something, they contradict it, they try to make you think you're crazy.
It's Karl Marx, isn't it, Dr. Jan? It's all Karl Marx.
Well, it is. Let me add a component to it. Is what PSYOPs we might call gaslighting 1.0. PSYOPs could be 2 or 3.0.
Wow.
Because what it is doing is to make you crazy.
Yes.
But they've infected our culture. So years ago, and it was 1976, and there was a discrimination case that came up in New York City. And somebody decided to add sexual discrimination to the charge. That was the first time that that term came out and people latched onto it. And they decided that that would be a thing that they would use. But when we think about the Democrats and all of their blabber, the fact is, it's no different than that parable of Chicken Little and the sky is falling. They're sexist, they're homophobics, they're deplorables, they're whatever. And what they didn't realize in this election was that Chicken Little lost all of his power. It no longer worked. When I spoke to my godson the other day, who is about as rigid and conservative and closed-minded and everything else, when he said to me, you know, in 2016, I focused on Trump's personality. I mean, we all lived in New York. He had lived in New York. There are things that Trump did that we didn't approve of. Who cares? But he hated him for certain things about that. But when he said to me, I am beyond personality, it doesn't matter. And let me take you back to 2016 when Jeb Jr. came to London for all of us fundraisers. There were probably about 40 of us in the room. And this young kid said to us, look, it's no problem. The thing is, we only have to focus on 6 swing states, and likability is all we need to care about. For me, after 2024, it was a confirmation that likability has died as a criteria for choosing a president. And for that, we can completely rejoice. Not to say I'm still very concerned about John Thune, who is heading up the Senate, whose comment when he decided to support Ron DeSantis was, well, Trump doesn't really have the gravitas. I might have an opportunity with a reporter from the UK to go to the US around inauguration time. Should I have this opportunity to accompany him and go to Thune, this is my ideal. And Thune, listen to this because I'm prepping you, would be to say, only pretty boys focus on the surface. You have gotten ahead because you're a pretty boy and have never really had to work hard. Now, can you get over your bias against Trump because you don't think he has the pretty boy gravitas image? And can you focus on the right things that need to be done in the Senate as much as in the Congress? And those are the things that absolutely drive me crazy. Now, let me go back to the fact, Kim, you asked me to talk about PSYOPs, so let me come back to an aspect of that.
Okay.
What I want to ask everyone is how many times, we've got that onion. How many times have you seen through a layer of that onion and you go, oh, I see it so clearly, and you get the slime out of the way and you're tackling the next layer. And you are beginning to say to yourself, did I really see it right before? Am I going ahead right with what I am seeing? Let me tell you, the first thing is yes, continue. The second part of that is yes, we need to question ourselves because the Democrats don't do that. The fact is, for us to keep on moving on through those layers is that we continue to challenge ourselves. We continue to doubt ourselves until we go back and reconfirm what we have seen. And that is the most important aspect, frankly, of self-doubt. Because if you have the capability of having self-doubt, you will question yourself until you can reconfirm and move on. Because if, again, I go back to that onion, you've gotten through the first 3 layers, but those onion layers are darn thick and hard to pour or pull off. Now,
sometimes, yep.
Say, for those that you do not cook, just trust us. Because
we know.
We deal with those onions. And just the most important thing, if you don't cook, to know is that you can get that tough layer off, and then you got the slime to get through. And that is what we're fighting in there. Now, when I had the opportunity after Trump Truth, my GB News interview, one of the early things I kept saying to people, and I realized I hadn't continued with this, and I probably should have, is that the most important thing to trust in yourselves in relation to PSYOPs is your intuition. And the PSYOPs they've done on us have discouraged us from that. But let me explain it this way. Your intuition is no different than an umbrella with raindrops dropping all over. But those raindrops stay and they eventually connect and make sense. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way is when a car is put together, all of the facts, the senses, the knowledge, everything pulls it together. But when the driver gets in the car, the driver has to make decisions. Do I turn it on? Do I set my GPS? Do I put it in reverse? And that is the part of our reasoning ability. Now, frankly, Democrats have been, I don't even know the right word. They've been deprived of it. They've been uneducated from it. They've been cut off from it, but they do not have the discriminating faculty that we have. And that is the part. At the end of it, you could decide, I'm going to reverse it, but that input goes to your intuition. Another way of describing it is when you get a gut feel, don't doubt it, question it, check it out. Because, again, with the umbrella and all the raindrops, they connect. They make sense. For years, when I have done media over here in the UK, even after the inauguration, I was with Jennifer Rubin and a few others on a panel. And I said to them, you guys don't connect the dots. And it was so interesting when Jennifer Rubin explained to me or responded of, but we have to get the information out. No, you don't have to get information out. You're going for clickbait. That is what you're going for. You're going for, have you come up with the right phrase for clickbait instead of honoring the people that are depending on you for the information. Now, let me also talk about a concept of sort of ambiguity. And what made me think of it tonight is that I have the most lovely Shih Tzu who is somehow, when I'm on the phone or when I'm doing Zoom, he somehow thinks, because I talk with my hands, I'm asking him to do his different, what do you call it? His things to get a treat. And it's made me realize that. But the thing is that when we are reaching out to people, they sense exactly where we're coming from. And so it is important to know that honestly, it doesn't matter how anyone thinks about you, how anyone interprets you. The most important part of intuition is to be clear on what you think, what you feel, and every bit of what has come together for you. And if you trust your intuition, when you listen to that, I kind of don't like higher and lower and better and best, but in some ways, the intuition is that higher part of us that brings everything up of what we see, what we feel, what we sense, what we know, what we're confused about into a coherence. And that is what is most important. Sadly, that has been conditioned out of the Democrats. But let me just say this. With this result of the last election, because for me, I always look at signs that we've kind of cracked a wall here or cracked a wall there, is that when these Democrats are saying, let's start a letter campaign to Biden that we need to have an audit and this has been cheating things or whatever. The best part of that is they no longer believe that there is no cheating, that there are no corrupt people, etc. And that is a crack. When I went to Petra in 2005 with my son, Petra's in Jordan, and it was an incredible city that no one knew about until an earthquake created a crack in an incredible wall that must have been 50 feet high that you could take a horse through to get you to the other side and see this city. In many ways, that is what we are slowly doing to the Democrats in cracking open their mind. So when they are complaining about the results of the election, don't treat it as, oh, well, they're sore losers or whatever. It means they finally saw through an aspect of the corruption that has been going on. And again, let me reiterate, the first part of PSYOPs is gaslighting, where they're trying to make you think that what you're seeing, you're not seeing. But gaslighting 2.0, 3.0, etc., is what is making you question, I really identified that psyop, and then something else happens and you're saying, did I really see that psyop? You did. You did. But you had a level of insight to a layer to keep on going. So, point is, don't doubt yourself. Appreciate that you realize that aspect, and you're going to go on. But what they've wanted us to do, part of the PSYOP, is to think, well, I saw this. I saw it clearly. I am convinced about what I saw. And then they present something else that creates the doubt. Now, Trump, with his tweets over the years, has been incredible. First tweet, he's broken it down to 4 categories. The first aspect is floating ideas. What do people think? Let me see how they respond. The second is distraction. I did an interview in the Middle East, and people were fixated on those Haitian cats and dogs and everything.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And I said, please understand, when Trump introduces something, he's introducing it as something for you, the media, to focus on, so you're not going to pay attention to more important things. We have just spent 120 seconds talking about Haitians and cats and dogs, and how is that serving the viewers? So that is the second part, distraction. So when Trump talked about the 7 countries that he, Muslim countries, was not going to allow in, people, the media knew. In the Obama administration, Congress voted on those 7 countries, voted on those 7 countries. Why? Because we couldn't validate the information they gave us. As simple as that. But the media hasn't done that. And let me bring in something else. And maybe it's PSYOPs and maybe it's not exactly related to PSYOPs, but the new appointed head of the FCC wrote a paper for the Project 2025, and I went and read it immediately. Now, if I were to ask you, what is the most critical issue to you in relation to the media? And I suspect people would not tell me, oh, it's big tech, oh, it's the censorship, oh, it's this. Do you know, in 1986, the Congress approved that the media no longer had to present both sides of an issue. They could now become propagandists. And then in 2012, when Obama put forth, which was eventually passed, the Smith-Bunt Act, that no longer allowed propaganda in the US, and repealed that, although ostensibly appealed for what the government agencies would say to the people. When you talk to anyone on Obama's staff, it gave them full right to dictate what the media would tell us. And the media at the same time closed all their foreign operations. So they were totally dependent on our politicians to tell them what was going on. So if I were to have written that component of Project 2025 before focusing on big tech and the Thing 230 and everything else, I would have started with What is the behavior that has allowed this issue to corrupt our culture and our society? And my biggest fear throughout the Vivek, Elon, efficiency, and everything else is that that component will not be focused on. And we need to bring that to their attention. I probably
Jan?
should stop talking. So
Jan,
you
Jan,
talk
so
to me.
good, so good. Listen, you gave us so much to really chew on today. I love the analogy of the onion. We've got to deal with the slime. We need to powerfully take things on layer by layer. We need to challenge ourselves. Always challenge ourselves, vet our information over and over. That doubt, I heard you say, can be a really good thing if we utilize it, right? And I also heard you say to trust your intuition. Now, I do know as a master practitioner in neurolinguistic programming, when I'm working with clients, we all come with a whole framework of our past, and all information comes through the filter of that past. So what you said about challenging yourself is so important, because is the information I'm taking in right now, and what is it coming up against? What is the story that's sitting here right now? Am I feeding a story, right? Sometimes we got to look at it from a global perspective.
Kim, let me put it this way.
Mhm.
The first part is that we as individuals need to challenge what we chose to believe. So, for example, my lovely father decided to call me the bad seed after that film came out. So I went through a period of life believing, because I'm a kid, my father knows better. But what is important is for us to look at who we are today. But the hardest part is realizing someone we loved, someone we respected,
Yes.
someone we revered actually had gotten it wrong or had an emotional moment, and we took it to heart. The most important thing as adults is that, yes, we might have bought in to what someone said about us, but until we are able to say, do I agree? Do I believe in that? Does it have validity? But there's a component to it. The Democrats don't get there. They don't get there, and that is one of the reasons we are so disconnected, because they have been discouraged from thinking for themselves. We at least have been given the gift that we can think for ourselves, and we can challenge. And we can even challenge the most cherished thoughts and judgments and criticisms that have come from people that we love.
Yes.
We have to have the courage to do that. And I will tell you, I've been going through that phase personally. It's not comfortable and it's scary, but what it gave me the insight was, if I try to educate, incite, even trigger or plant a seed with the normies, sleepers, never Trumpers, unawakened, what I have to realize is that any crack in their armor, in their mind, is going to first give them a jolt. Because I always ask people, what was your first kind of aha moment when you realize I've been totally fucked? What was that moment? And I will tell you, I know when it happened, but I don't know what triggered it. But it is important to remember because those are the people we are going to continue to encounter. I just got a question of how do I deal with family that's coming and doesn't think like me, and how am I going to get through the Thanksgiving weekend?
Good question.
My advice was, one, Democrats don't listen to one another. They just go yak, 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 yak. So listen, don't talk. If you try to educate, they're going to shut you down because they feel you're trying to make them wrong. So keep your mouth shut, ask questions, pull them out, keep that going. Long story short of my different steps was then to recommend watch JFK, the Oliver Stone film.
Yes.
Okay. After that, next day, day after, whatever, watch JFK Revisited Through the Looking Glass. The most incredible documentary, other than the documentary about Arafat and Rabin, but the most incredible documentary that shows CIA documents, that shows where LBJ was when JFK was assassinated. You will be able to make your own conclusions.
Wow.
Now, I also said, after they watch that, if they don't get it, just spend the weekend getting drunk because there's no.
Okay, cancel that, Jan.
Yeah.
Cancel that.
No,
Okay, so, Jan, so good. So
if they have an oh my God moment, I can't believe they did X, Y, and Z, then just feel you created a crack and you succeeded.
So
speaking
good,
of a
Jan.
crack here, I want to get in a comment and a question for you, Jan.
We got
I
30 seconds, Scotty, because we've got people on the back
Go,
end. We're way over our
Scotty.
time. Go, Scotty.
I hope the question leads to optimism. You know, Jan, talking about psyops from CNN faking war and incoming scuds, and a man putting on a helmet and an earpiece faking all-out war, to Russia hoax. Everything has been a psyop since the 50s in Mockingbird Media, with the CIA at the helm. Contrast that with you and your work with the DoD, where you said we need to get to 70% acceptance of the truth, the MAGA agenda, generally of Trump and what he stands for. Didn't we Americans peel back that onion and shed ourselves of the cognitive dissonance and come to that 70%? Did we get rid of our cognitive dissonance? The majority of Americans, anyway.
Okay, so Scotty, let me be clear. It was Juan 07 who kept saying we need to get to 66%, we need to get 80%, etc. First off, there is a good possibility that 20 to 30% so much do not think for themselves. Mass psychosis. They just believe in the science. They believe what experts tell them because we've been conditioned to think the center of our thinking and reasoning is not within ourselves, but instead it is with credentials, experience, etc. Now, what I would say is that I have never believed that it has been a percentage of when people wake up. What I have always believed is watch what is happening in our world to know what the next action would be. So I thought it was great that first Tom Fitton came out on Truth Social and implied that Trump was going to use the military to take the illegals out. And Trump's response was true with about 3 or 4 exclamation points, with Trump telling us yes. Then for Rand Paul to come out saying, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. And it's not to say Rand Paul is wrong. I have had up and down feelings for Simon Parks, but whatever ages or months or weeks ago when he said it, and it was longer than that, but it would not look good for our military to be on the streets. This is much different. And this is where we need to have trust in Trump to make the right decision of when to execute the right people. So if he is saying, I will put the military to get the illegals out, that is a mission. That is not, I'm going to put the military on the streets and I'm going to stop the compression of free speech and go after this or that. No, he's saying it serves a purpose.
That's right.
And that, to me, is what people need to learn to listen to, is the specifics. You know, I was asked the other day about the appointees, and I said, what's very important to listen to when Trump speaks, and it was funny in the Tucker Carlson interview when he said, you know, people criticize me because they say I go back and forth or whatever. And Trump said, I weave through things. And he does it brilliantly because he can be asked a question and he brings all sorts of other facts into it. It's brilliant the way in which he does it. A couple of things, whether it was his rally or the Tucker Carlson interview, that brought a few issues home to me was when he said, people criticized me of why I selected John Bolton. Let me, and I'm paraphrasing, these aren't his exact words, but let me explain it to you. When I met with Kim Jong-un, and I brought that bushy mustache of a face with me, he represented war. I forbid him to speak, but the fact that he was there was enough to instill the feelings in Kim Jong-un for me to create peace with him. When Trump told us, I put Nikki Haley in as UN ambassador as ambassador to the UN. I really couldn't stand her as the governor of South Carolina, and I wanted my guy in. The best way to get her out was to give her that role. One of the things that's coming up is Pam Bondi. That is, I would caution people to think about it, to understand her background, and to know that Trump, every appointment that he makes, do not accept it as the godsend gospel or whatever, because it could be he's picking people to fall on their sword and expose themselves.
Love that, Jan. We're going to hold it right there only because of time. You have brought such a blessing to all of us today, Jan. And your words of listen when we're at that dinner table, ask questions and listen. Let them make the decision themselves. I love it. I love the two movies that you recommended. You know, in the Bible, it says, is a great Proverbs, the heart is deep waters. A wise man draws out the heart. And what I see in you, Jan, is that's the wisdom that you are giving to us today. So thank you so much for all you do. We pray that you have the most blessed holiday, and we are honored to be in this fight to take our republic back together. God bless you.
Thank you, Jan. We love you.
Having met both of you, I really feel honored that you included me in this effort that you both have dedicated so much time and effort to, because it's so important. So thank you.
Thank you, Jan. We love you.
Big hug,
Jan
Jan.
is an incredible ball of joy, you guys. I'm telling you, we were in the car and we were I was crying. We laughed so hard, but she is such a woman of joy and truth. And I just appreciate her so much. Great wisdom today, guys. The power of asking the questions and listening. And I think also another key is we got to know who we are and whose we are. Because when we stand on that solid rock of whose we are, I'm telling you, we're unshakable. We're immovable, that we don't allow ourselves to get in a place of reacting, but we get the download and wisdom from our Heavenly Father as to what to ask next or what to say. So with that being said, Scotty, up next is our freedom-loving patriot warrior. I love him dearly, so much wisdom. We have had the privilege of having him on our show. And just for integrity purposes, guys, we know that we're way over time, but we also know the importance of getting this word out. So thank you for sticking with us. And remember, those raffle tickets this is it. We're raffling the Delta AR-15 rifle today, as well as the Sign Take Our Border Back t-shirts, as well as the Founders Bible and Sword. So look at the link below, go there, get your raffle tickets ASAP. We're going to raffle at the end of this. And entering the room right now is our amazing Craig Salmon Sawyer, former Navy SEAL, federal investigator, featured on the TV show Rhino Wars, and he is the leader of Veterans for Child Rescue. Craig Salmon Sawyer, thank you for your patience. You have been waiting in the back room for quite some time. You are a very patient man. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all friends and we work through, whatever challenges together, right? So I'm here for
Hey,
you
Craig,
guys.
how
You
are
guys
you,
have
buddy?
been there for me. Good, brother. How you been, Scotty?
Very good, sir. Glad to have you, and thank you always for your presence and all the work you do for the kids.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
Privilege.
And Craig, let me ask you this. We're bringing the real issues like you see to the table. How do we have these conversations? I mean, people are like, this human trafficking, you mean the milk cartons? Like, is this stuff even real? I mean, we hear this thing with Diddy now and Epstein. Maybe it is real. What's true? What's not true? People are like confused. Like, how do we bring powerful, productive conversations to our Thanksgiving table?
It's a painful topic to bring child trafficking, something like that, or any type of evil to people who are not witting to it. And I think a lot of them are not prepared, Kim. They're not morally prepared. They're not spiritually prepared. They don't have the faith in God Almighty. They're not close to him. They don't know him. They don't know his capacity and have that relationship. So they are fearful of anything that seems abnormal, supernatural, because hunting children and slaughtering them, the things that we're learning about, it's not natural human behavior. This is something very, very dark and nasty, and people are repelled by the topic. So it has been a challenge for us to go, hey, sir, ma'am, please face this with us. And collectively, we can all turn against this. So I think the thing has to be, Kim, you have to approach them in love. It has to be genuine.
Yeah.
It has to be from the heart, and knowledge is power. So we share the truth with those that we love. So if you share it with love, that's good. And I think it's really helpful to comprehend where they're coming from. Your life's journey has been a bit different than mine. And we perceive things very, very similarly, but we're individuals, and humans by nature have, we're walking subtotal of our life's experiences, and that's what we have to go on. And not all of us are having the same experiences and access to the same information. So I think when we do have access to more information, closer access, more experience on it, and I think in that you have to really consider your friend's position. Why do they think the way that they do? And that's worth having that conversation. Hey, what's your understanding of it, and how did you come to that? And then from there, maybe you can say, hey man, I appreciate that. And I've had those same observations too. And I made this a project, or I worked inside this agency, or I have friends that are working on this project and I've dealt with it, and all these witnesses and survivors, we're talking to them, and here's what we're learning. The factual evidence bears out this, that, or the other thing, and bring that to them, and not bashing them over the head with, I know more than you. here's the facts, and you have to just adjust to this right now. It's in a compassion, Kim, and a love of that person, and a recognition of their perspective and why they have that perspective, because they've had access to different information than you have.
Yes.
And if you can unpack a little bit, okay, I was there once upon a time too, or I appreciate that that's your perspective, but here is the body of the evidence that we've walked through. Here's what we've found in digging into it very, very closely, very deeply. And I was deceived too. And my perspective has changed. Here's how it has changed. Here's what I have found. Then they can kind of take that journey with you and go, oh, wow, that is different than what I had understood. And then you can start unpacking that with them and having that conversation. And it doesn't have to be like flipping a light switch. They have to flip to your perspective instantly, but in love and compassion, just sharing that with them. It's good. And, and we all do share the same thing, that we've all been lied to. We have all been deceived and ripped off extensively and systematically. And we have that shared experience. We're all victims in that way. We're all taxpayers. Our tax dollars have all been used against us, right? I don't want to pay for child trafficking with my tax dollars.
That's right.
And I don't want my tax dollars, given to a hostile nation state that's pouring back into the pockets of the families of the corrupt politicians that rip us off and send the money overseas in the first place. So we all share that. So there's a commonality, Kim, that we do share. And I think if we can relate to each other, that's a really good way to open the door and then begin unpacking what we find when we're dealing with it very deeply and closely. So
Craig, I'm going to throw this in there. Love and compassion, exactly what you said. And we've got to have the thought going into a conversation that people do the best they can with what they have. That's so important. And when we think of love, I really feel like the foundation needs to be laid down as to what love is, because love can be, our definition of love can be dependent upon what our internal belief system is and our past experience has been. So I like to always cross-reference it with what God's word says love is. And then I've got to look at my own life and go, okay, am I bearing the fruit of his love, peace, patience? Am I patient with the person I'm talking to? Kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness, self-control. Because if I'm reacting to them, I am not being self-controlled. I'm making it mean something. Like, I know more. I got to get that word out. And I think that it goes back to even Jan's, like always checking in with yourself. Right? So I love that message, love and compassion. And Craig, today we have Elvia Davia. I think you've met Elvia at our last Take Our Border Back. She has her own personal story. And the coolest thing is when she shares a little bit later, she's going to share how to powerfully bring those conversations to your dinner table, because people just don't know how real this is. I mean, and she lived with the cartel.
Yeah.
Craig,
She'll be great. Yeah, go ahead, Scotty.
Because I think many people have said next time you talk to Craig, ask him, because they really want to know. Look, you by far coming on Sovereign Radio in the early days of 2020, and Victor Avila, you guys opened my eyes that human trafficking, pedophilia, and satanic rituals are real. Victor told me about satanic rituals in tears on my show. People ask, well, what can I do at a grassroots level to combat it or even spot it? Because it's all around us. We see people pull into gas stations with a truck full of kids and one man. What are the ways we can respond to it and spot it and do something at a local level?
Man, we put a bunch of tools detailing that on our website, v4cr.org. We've spent a lot of time building that out to empower people, because truth is love. Knowledge is power, and you share that power, that empowering knowledge with those that you love. So we've loaded up v4cr.org with a lot of tools on that. It's pretty extensive, Scotty. There's a lot to learn, and that's the good news. There's a lot that we can each do on recognize the signs, the symptoms, the Airbnb homes, the hotels, the transportation, all of it. the signs and symptoms of the youth when they change, your own children in your own home. And if you have a child that starts becoming withdrawn and you don't know why, man, these are things that we have to dig into. We have to dig into their smart devices and find out who they're talking to, who they're spending time with. All of these things have to be done. So
they always say, see something, say something, but you got to know what to see. And so your website has all those indicators on it, doesn't it?
A lot of them. There'll never be all of them because it's an evolving situation, because predators and traffickers will always, any criminal will evolve their tactics around whatever law enforcement's doing to counter them, like the radar and the radar detector dynamic. One improves, then the other improves and changes. Then one improves and the other changes. So it's that way with any crime. But
Craig, you may have just had a thought. I don't want to interrupt your flow. You have a thought?
I do. I was just going to say trauma victims. We deal with so many trauma survivors that have been traumatized in their youth. And we were just talking about the ladies on The View. And I posted, I feel that these are all trauma survivors from their youth. I can almost guarantee it. And it breaks my heart. But how we respond to it is a choice, though. After that, my father was traumatized in his youth, and he chose to remake himself and be like Jesus Christ. And he was the best father I could have ever wished for. A very loving, a compassionate man. So I don't have any tolerance for ugly behavior and the bitterness, but it should be an eye opener as to why so many people are distorted and their perceptions are distorted. I've lived with trauma survivors, and their perceptions are, and they'll admit to you that as they learn about it, their perceptions are distorted according to what happened to them in their youth. And it is a weapon against the children. It is a spiritual weapon. Trauma is, especially childhood trauma, to shake and rattle that soul, that mind's perception so deeply and drag them down into a fear and bitterness state. That the ultimate objective is so that little one never finds their salvation, never finds their healing, never finds their power, true love of their creator, and has that relationship so that they have eternal salvation. That's meant to be doomed and taken from them while they're down there in that bitterness and that fear state and that anger and that resentment, that low vibrational state. They never look up. They never accept anyone intervening and helping them. And that's the attack. Once we all, as a society, once education reaches everybody and lets us know that that's a true thing that happens, a very powerful dynamic that we have to reverse. We have to break that and having this happen to our children. We have to be good stewards of the precious little ones, the most innocent, the most pure, the most precious and sacred. There's a reason Jesus mentioned the millstones to those that offends one of these. And what does it mean to offend? If you look up the word offend, it means to cause resentment or bitterness in, to take them out of that loving, trusting, high vibrational state that we're born in and drag them down in that bitterness and anger that you see on The View, for example. So we have to realize that's what trauma does to people. That's why so many are doing it. And we have a complete nation full of the majority, I would say now, of American adults are trauma survivors. Their perceptions are distorted from it. And we have to learn how to heal and purge that trauma from our culture.
So good, Craig. Those words are so powerful because that's what we have available to us, is that healing. Craig, you and I have had discussions, some of the things that I went through as a child, and I shouldn't be here right now having the mindset being truly transformed by the renewing of my mind to be able to talk freely about what happened in my childhood. And honestly, I have no emotion about it anymore. There's so much healing and empowerment here because I know whose I am, and God has gone in to heal that. So I'm so grateful. We all have access to that because when that happens, we are no longer constrained in those neural pathways, those old patterns that are firing off and keeping us in an unabundant mindset. We actually have access to true freedom, creating new neural pathways, being that renewed mind. So such a great reminder, and we only have access to that.
We all do. Your creator wants you to have it.
That's it.
Before you go, Craig, I think we'd be remiss like father, like daughter. You have a very heartwarming story of how your daughter joined Vets for Child and Rescue and how she's helping today.
Yes. Yeah. She was, as soon as I put in my hat for the ring against child trafficking and put in for Veterans for Child Rescue for 501c3 nonprofit organization status, our daughter was abducted and violently raped and traumatized throughout the night. We got her back. She did escape before morning, but it did a number on her, and she does serve now with us, and she's a predator hunter, and she's helped put many predators in prison. Now we've got 29 predators with arrested with 100% conviction rate and 87 warrants for more, but it's a battle, man. And so there are many that don't want them to be put in prison. They want them out there still raping the children. It's just strange.
They
There's
want
so
to lower
many
the
people
age to
attacking
14,
us
Craig.
online, running us down. The defamation is just ridiculous out there. People who aren't in the fight, people who don't do anything to arrest predators or save children, trashing everybody that does. It's just, we have to stop all this. We have to learn to vet our sources.
Yes.
Stop attacking the guys that are making the arrest and doing the real work. We have to get past that. Get up.
Come on, Assistant Chief Sean Taylor, Millersville PD. Come on. Come on, Craig Sawman Sawyer, exposing the mass corruption. Craig, thank you. Thank you for standing the line. Thank you for trusting God. Thank you for not allowing yourself to get taken down by the lies that are out there. You are my brother. You are our brother. You are a warrior. Craig, your message before we bring Elvia into the room, your Thanksgiving message to the United States of America and to the world right now.
Well, it would really be just like my mother said so simply, we need Jesus. We need Jesus. And that sounds simple, but it's not. There's a massive book full of supernatural wisdom that unpacks exactly what all that means, but we need his way of being, his rules, his laws that are meant to draw us closer to his kingdom where everything works as it should, not the dysfunction that we've had. Yes, ma'am. Mine's in the other room where I'd hold it up right now.
Come on, let's eat it up. This is the real food.
Yeah. And it's not about being religious or a bunch of rules that don't make any sense. It's about being the way on the inside and treating each other with love, the way that our Creator made us to be, designed us to be, intended for us to be. And the closer we grow to him in his way, the more beautiful our lives become. And that's what we need, folks. That is absolutely what we need. And we need leaders who subscribe to that and walk in that, and everything will begin to change, but not until.
Craig, I want to take you to a California meeting where the politicians are arguing to lower the age to 14. Sexual consent. I want to.
No, you don't. You don't want to take me there, Scotty.
Scotty, we got to finish right here. I'm
Talk
so
about
sorry.
flipping
We're gonna
tables.
have to, Craig. We're gonna have to hold that conversation. Okay, we're gonna have that conversation for another time. We are an hour behind our schedule, so that's a good conversation. A great conversation, Scott. We're going to bring in Elvia Davia. Craig, thank you so much for being with us today. We just love you so much. God bless you. Godspeed. Thank you for being in the fight with us.
Thank you.
Come on.
Simplify.
Come on. So good. All right, Scott, I hated to cut that off. I'm telling you, we have 2 more speakers left, and then we've got our raffle. We're going to close it up. All of our live streamers have been patient. We've all pivoted and we've rolled with the punches, and that's what we've got to do is roll with the punches and keep on going. So we're going to bring in right now Elvia Davia and then Mark Anthony to close us up. We'll go through our raffle, and then we have a powerful close with Chris Darlington's still standing. So Elvia is coming into the room right now. For those of you who do not know her, she is an absolute warrior. This woman has been through the mills in her own life. She's a survivor of criminal organization. She's a mama, a business owner, a community advocate, and she ran for a Senate seat in Georgia. She is a fighter. Elvia, welcome to Pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be part of this podcast. How are you guys doing? I'm amazing. A lot of great information, a lot of wisdom, valuable insights here completely. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for doing all this. It's a pleasure to be here.
Elvia, we know your story, and some of the people that here may not know the deeper
Okay.
part of you growing up in a organization that was a criminal organization. You found your way out, but the organization continued to follow you because it was your family, and it left your husband dead and left you as a
Yes.
single mom. And
Yes,
I know that.
exactly. Well, yes, it's a little hard to talk about it, but our real issues that I really want every day to become more awareness, people to just have the awareness. I really honestly don't think, I just really believe what Craig is telling. The American people is not ready to hear this very hard subjects. And unfortunately, they're to the dot. They're happening it all around. And that is something that we really need to be aware and empower people. I agree with him 100%. Love. I remember me being a child in California, going to school, elementary, being in 4th grade. And teachers sometimes can catch a little bit. Other ones, they're just too busy. They don't care. But that teacher, I remember her till this day, just giving the love and the empowerment of how they don't question you, like for you to withdraw. But being a victim of human trafficking, they empower you to the point that, this narcissist people, they gaslight you. You're the crazy one. You're the liar all the time, the biggest liar of history. But just that empowerment, when you don't give them the power to see you all the way to the down, that I think it's been one of my biggest things that I accomplish everything, because I don't give the power for the bad people to just knock you down. That's what they want. So, and we cannot leave everything in the country for Trump. Trump, I'm just amazingly happy that he won. But 4 years, it goes by very fast. And it's just time for everybody to just really grip into the pants and just get the true patriots on, and people that really that are the warriors that are on the field. So I'm just so happy with the people that he's appointing. I just love it, because, at this point, I've seen a lot. There's a lot of politicians just looking pretty there, lawyers just sticking to the to politics and just but not with not to the real issues that are going on. Human trafficking, it's a real issue.
Yeah. So Elvia, tell us. We're going to sit down and we're going to have Thanksgiving. We're going to be going to events with our neighbors, maybe having our neighbors over. And we hear all this stuff coming out on the news. We talked about this in our prior, with Diddy and with Epstein and all that we're hearing. So we know the information is there. People are present to it, but they don't really get it. Some people are just completely oblivious. So how would you bring the conversation to the Thanksgiving table? Like, what might that look like with your friends and family?
Well, it's pretty simple. This Thanksgiving, I think it's just most importantly just to be grateful. Bring prayer to our home. Be just grateful, but also just keep in mind of the real issues. So addressing the truth about what the nation is facing, the human trafficking, 325,000 kids that we don't know where they are, over 100,000 people dying of fentanyl doses. We all have children. So we all care. And just about like here in Georgia, what happened to Lake and Riley? We saw the trial, we saw everything. We didn't see justice for her. How dangerous it is, the sanctuary cities. And just the personal life that I've been through, all my testimony, just bring it out openly. People need to get the point of real issues that are happening. So that's what I would do, and just open the conversation in a common ground, back and forth. We know we're going to get targeted, that we are the bad people. We're just separating families, and we're going to see all that, but we got to stick to the real issues that are really happening. We don't want to have a home without a door and letting everybody just
so well said. So what I hear is in order to really protect our families, it's going to be important that they have the real information, right? And we can take all of the wisdom and discernment from all of our former speakers. Everyone brought so much value today, to bring those things where we're asking the questions, right? What is it that you know about human trafficking? Have you heard about the Epstein? Have you heard about Diddy? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And then what about Lake and Riley, like having these kinds of conversations and listening and drawing the heart out. The heart is deep waters. So I love that, Elvia. Scotty, you
gotta go to common ground and find a way to open the conversation. And I mean, we're all parents, and even kids. My kids, I try to bring as much awareness and just let them speak, and we hear it, and then just bring the common sense. What we have experienced in our life is just a lot. So again, I mean, if anybody didn't know my story here, I moved to Georgia in 2010, and because I am aware of what California, Oregon became back in the day, and I'm just sick and tired of letting legislators, senators here, talk and fight for Georgia. I mean, we've seen the elections completely chaos, being rigged, been taken, been stolen. I've been telling we got to protect the election. And it just gets so frustrating to a point that you're like, okay, I mean, what's going on? When are we going to be heard, right? And something is going to be done about it. But just fight back and just hold your ground and have the courage. I mean, Georgia, it's a great, beautiful state. It's a Republican state, but their cartels, criminal organizations are fighting for it. We hear on the TV all the time, Tren de Aragua Venezuelans. Well, they are hired by the Mexican cartels. So, I mean, it's very hard. I see that we are okay in a good path. In 2020, my husband said, I mean, if Stacey Abrams wins, we gotta leave Georgia immediately. These cartels will just come here. Thank God, we didn't have her, but we did lose our county. Why? This is a strategy. They go where the more population is, and for some reason we're not fighting enough or digging enough or holding people accountable. Our DAs are very rogue. I mean, Gwinnett District Attorney, my husband was murdered in front of my own eyes. The last words he said, go to the government, take care of the kids, and he was gone. I've been fighting ever since. I've been fighting this since a child, but for some reason, I mean, it's not, I don't feel like, never is going to happen, but it's been a lot of years fighting. And it's very strong. It's very hard. These criminal organizations, when they do something like this, they already have DAs. They have, I mean, how they're going to get their way out. I mean, murdering a person in front, in your own eyes, and only getting 5 years probation, 5 years house arrest, it's insane. What happened to Lake and Riley? I mean, they had all the evidence. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see enough. I don't want to, I mean, it's very scary around a university. I have a daughter. She's 22. It's scary.
Yeah.
We need better leadership. We need better leadership. People that are warriors in the ground, people that know these things, because, looking pretty and just talking in there doesn't get the things accomplished. We've been doing that for a long time.
I want to acknowledge you for being that warrior, that no matter what life threw at you, you continue to stand, you continue to fight for truth. And even right now, you are still fighting. So when I see Trump go like this, you are that example of what it means to fight. You are my warrior sister. I love you. I pray that God continues to bless you abundantly and your babies, in this journey. And thank you for standing with us today and giving us words of wisdom. We need to continue to bring these issues to the table. Find the common ground, create the conversation, and we need to take the republic back, protect our babies, protect our homes. We love you, sister.
Hi, Alvia.
Thank you.
I want to say hello before you.
Yes.
before you run, I want to say hello and thank you for being here. And you talk about pretty faces, the rhinos and Democrats. There's a lot of them, but you're not just a pretty face. You're a very strong, powerful voice. There's a lot of people out there who have lost a loved one in the way you did, a husband, a wife, a child. Is there a way for people to get a hold of you to bounce things off of you and communicate with you? Is there any way to do that?
Of course, it's
email,
ELVIA. Yeah, my email, Elvia for. Oh my gosh, Elvia for Georgia State.
Yeah, that's right.
For Georgia State.
GEORGIA, right?
At gmail.com. Yes.
That's right. At gmail.com.
And then you can find me. Yeah. And you can also always call me 678-744-6407.
Hey, don't y'all be calling her. You only call her. You only call. I would email. Let's just put the email out there to protect you, my sister. So the email, Elvia for Georgia State at gmail.com. Let's put that ticker on right now. So
no call Elvia for dates, people.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Elvia?
I'm asking, I would really love, I'm very honored and happy to see Trump that elected Tom Holman to be our broadcaster. We need that. The person in this situation, somebody that I can't stand is Mayorkas. Mayorkas we need to hold them accountable. Just leaving all we endure a lot of pain, and this is just a strategy. They have our DAs, they have our sheriffs. So I asked Tom Holman that we really need his help in Georgia. We really need him to come and check into the elections that are being stolen, to come and really look into the DAs. That we have plenty of evidence and just wrongdoing with cases. So I'm just really asking him to just come and don't leave. I mean, Georgia, it's a great state, so don't leave us just hanging in here. We have Republicans, but we really need to look into that deep state and all the rhinos and everything that is going on.
Holman, that is a call to action for you, Border Czar. Let's take our power back. Let's take our country back. Elvia, we love you. God bless you. Godspeed. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we're going to see you on the other side. Happy Thanksgiving, sister. So good. Okay, guys, up next. Well, first of all, I just love her. She is amazing. And she is an example, again, of what it means to fight. Scotty, she shows up every time. And that woman has been through things that most of us would never understand. So she speaks the truth right from the heart as not a victim, but as a true survivor. And with that being said,
she is the definition. She is the definition of a warrior.
She is. And we have another warrior in the house. He is one of our warriors as well. He is our steering team committee co-founder of Take Our Border Back and a security expert. And actually, let me read this properly. He's a community protection safety teams expert, one of the founders of TOBB with a background in investigation, security, and intelligence. It's Mark Anthony. Mark, welcome back.
Hey guys, it's been a great day so far, right?
It has been a great day. We got hit along the road here, but you know what? We kept on going, which says a lot for us. So hallelujah. Mark, you have a word for us today when it comes to, bringing these conversations to our Thanksgiving table. So we're going to pass it over to you.
So listen, when you're with your family and to understand what we are and what we've become and what we've accomplished, there's things, the bell has rang for all of us. We've woken up to a lot of different things. Just when you thought you had it all, there was something else that was given. And what I've come to the conclusion is, Jesus said we do greater things than he. And with that being said, we are creators. When you take something and you make something of something, you just created something. You are a creator. He wielded us the power to cast demons out and to do all kinds of different things. And like I said, he said that we do greater things than Jesus. The power's within you. Dig down and find it. Stop operating in the flesh. Start operating in the spirit. And that's how you manage this. When you get into that spiritual realm, and let me just tell you this, me and Craig Sawyer, I mean, we work together. He's you know, he's such a great person. He's watched all of us grow. We've watched him grow. We have all grown to exponential levels spiritually. We have learned so much being around each other, being in prayer, moving forward. We have just pulled things that I never thought. You know, think about this. We pulled things that, because Jesus gave us Take Our Border Back. Don't think that it was just a mastermind of one of us. He gave it to us. Okay. We did something no one else in history has done. Like Scotty said, we've reached, 100 million people, almost 15,000 participants. We did something that has never been done in the history of podcasting or as a movement. And I'm so proud of each and every one of our members that have participated and has helped us behind the scene. There's so many people to thank. And I could just go on for a long time about that. But the thing to bring to the table is to understand we have to operate in the spirit. We have to ask God for the guidance, and we just got to stop operating in that flesh. And that's where we screw up. You know, I was talking to someone the other day, and just a quick example. You had a relationship when you were younger and you moved on. You may have had 2 or 3 relationships or whatever it may have been. Well, just maybe the person that you were in a relationship with was spellcasted demonic. Who knows, right? That's why what held you back from doing God's work. But when you're operating in the spirit, you're able to see that and you're able to go around it. Me and you firsthand, Kim, have experienced that in my own life, going around that with people coming at me and me dodging it because I follow the spirit. I'm going to continue to follow the spirit. I'm not perfect, but I do the best I can every day. And when I lay my head down at night, I know I did the absolute best that I could for that day. And I did it the way God would want me to do it. And that's what I say. Do every day as to what God wants you to do.
Those are wise words. Every day doing God wants you to do. So, Mark, Thanksgiving, you're going to be in a new home and you're going to be with your family. What would you say is your family's pretty aware of all the work that you've been doing, but you might even have some neighbors over, some new people that are kind of friends of your family members, and they may not know what's going on. So we heard a lot of wise words today. Is there anything else that you want to add to what you've said that will really prepare our dear friends and our listeners for their Thanksgiving dinner?
There's one word that I would say: repent.
2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, says the Lord. I will forgive their sins and heal their land. He so wants to heal us. He's our daddy who loves us. He wants to heal our hearts. He wants to heal our land. This can be one of the most memorable, incredible Thanksgiving and holiday seasons of our lifetime.
That's correct. Kim, I kind of want to go off now. We lost a dear friend of ours, Scott Bennett. I want to dedicate this as well as you guys to Scott Bennett. He taught us so much.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, from prayer to optics to psyops to everything that he's ever taught us. He was. I'm wearing my Go Army pin. I'm wearing my Army hat. He will forever be missed.
Lieutenant Scott Bennett. Love Scott. Love him so much. And he loved Jesus. He loved the truth.
He did.
And he fought and stood in righteousness. And it was a shock to all of us to lose him. And we pray for his family and all those that have been impacted by his courage to stand for freedom. So this is dedicated to Scott Bennett. And Mark, thank you so much for just being a huge part of our journey. You know, we've had you, me, Scotty, Mark, you know, Noel at times, Robert, AJ. We have been on the phone for very long hours. Middle of the night, we are creating and planning and making sure that everything is in place to give power back to we the people. And we know where real power comes from. And we can walk in that power when we truly take our power back, our real identity. And that's what we want to do today is we want to realign, all of us really realign with who we are, and stand in that. And in that, we take our sovereignty back as nations, and we hold our elected officials accountable. We're going to close this border. Okay. And we're now going to be dealing with the conversation on the other side of what it looks like to safely and effectively release the illegal immigrants who have crossed here in the time period of the past couple of years illegally. And we're ready to secure our nation. So that conversation is going to be had. We want to continue that conversation on our Take Our Border Back platforms. And Scotty, anything that you want to say to Mark before we release him back to, he has a big task ahead of him today.
Yeah, just a heartfelt thank you and for all you do, Mark. You know, wanted to share a little anecdote real quickly. It'd be remiss if I didn't. We had a lot of security issues, particularly our first event. We were under attack. We knew the deep state might send infiltrators to our event. They were going to break off of the convoy, head to the border, and attack immigrants coming over and make it look like it was us. But Mark, you secured our events in a way that I could never imagine. I remember going the whole day from San Diego to Yuma, and late at night at Yuma, going to the bathroom, coming out of the bathroom and realizing you had a guy tailing me all day, protecting me. I said to Kim, "Was someone following you around?" She goes, "Yeah, we have a security guard." I didn't even see him. He was so good. He was so discreet. The caliber of people you surround yourself with, and the caliber of work you do, and particularly the work you do, saving the children, man, it's such a tough issue to face. We couldn't face it without guys like you and Craig. Really, thank you, brother.
Yes, Mark, thank you so much. And Mark,
It's my honor.
before we release you, I know there's a word that you want to share today. You and I were talking about the importance right now of shoring our communities up, our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones. We are, this time period we're in before the inauguration and even right after, it is a very important time. So can you share upon how important it is right now to be connected with our neighbors with this community watch and protection groups, kind of like our old neighborhood watches?
Well, yeah, it's exactly the same. So, you know, we watched the deep state do what it did in 2020. Us working around the administration and working with people in and out with the election integrity, take our border back, and other things that I won't go into. But, you know, what I want to say is it's eerily quiet. You know, they are putting out that it's going to be a peaceful transition. They're putting all the fraud points out in our world as, you know, being the intelligent part of something going off. We're watching strategically people being moved around to cities. And I think that's in purpose that they're going to flip the switch. So I would say that, you know, you really need to get with the neighbors, have an active plan, making sure you have the food, the water, the lights, you know, covered, the heat, whatever it may be, and just understand that we could go through a season. You know, the Bible says to prepare for a season. Is that the season that we got to prepare for? Yes. And that's what you've got to understand. That's why I say everything that is today is biblical. And so is that season that's upon us is the great deception upon us. And we really do need to pay attention to that book, because that book, all the answers are in it. Listen, my life's not always been perfect. I had a great mom that instilled Jesus Christ in me. And I was, you know, I guess I kind of was the black sheep of the family. But you know what? You know, me and my dad just talked about this not long ago. At the age of 14, I was telling them 13, 14, I was telling them things and they're looking at me like I was crazy. Now they're going, he saw it all back then coming. Who would have ever thought where I would be today? My family would have never thought where I would be today. They never thought that I would be in all the stuff that I participate in, and only certain ones know certain things, but they all see it now.
Yeah.
The purpose is, and you know, I'm going to spin back a little bit. People that have autism and ADHD and they don't fit in, they get bullied. It's because they have a greater purpose in life. And if you watch those people as they get older, they find that niche in their life that they're good at. And so this whole time of coming up, you know, they went through all this, you know, being pushed out of crowds, and they're not just like everybody else. It's because, to me, God had a hand on those people from day one, and their purpose was greater, and they were trying to find their way through life just like it was with me.
Come on, Mark Anthony. So good. Mark, thank you. Thank you for continuing to stand. We are so blessed to be honored. We're so blessed to be partnered with you. So fun that we all get to do life together, and that we together will take our country back. Mark Anthony, we love you. We'll see you on the other side. We're going to get ready for our raffle. Are you ready for the winner? Oh, one more thing. The importance of, when we're talking about shoring up, like Mark just talked about, get your gold and silver. Get your gold and silver from veritymetals.com. Matt Geiger will get you what you need, whether it be, in the physical sense, you'll have that gold and silver. You can put it in your safe, locked down in your home. You can also have it sent to a local depository. So guys, we have local ones here where I live, and there's very likely local ones where you live that Matt will make sure you are taken care of. Get the gold and silver in your hand. Don't let your IRA and the 401k sit there. Put it to use so that you have the physical gold and silver in hand. Thank you to Matt Geiger, Verity Metals, for sponsoring this pre-Thanksgiving Take Our Border Back Summit.
Absolutely, Kim. Doesn't matter about all the other stuff that's out there. The only thing that has been proven, and me and Matt talk a good bit, Matt's one of my buddies, is gold and silver. Everything else can fall to the wayside. Gold and silver will always have value.
Come on. Back to gold, baby. Back to gold. Mark, we love you. God bless you. We're going to release you from the room right now. Scotty, this is it. This is the tail end of our event. And we have so many great thank yous. We have a raffle that's coming up. Guys, you've got about 2 minutes to go get those raffle tickets. So I'm going to say it one more time. The Delta AR-15 rifle is being raffled off today. Go get your raffle tickets at takeourborderback.com. Oh, let's get the picture. Scotty's so good. Scotty's like, show me the picture. Show me the picture. Show it. Look at it, guys. That's
the deep state shooter.
That's the sharpshooter of the deep state. Yes, Scotty?
It's a beautiful weapon.
It's a beautiful weapon used for self-defense, used to protect your family. That is your Second Amendment. We get to utilize that in our good Constitution. So go and get your raffle tickets for that. $25 for one raffle ticket, $50 for two, $75 for three raffle tickets, $100 for four. You want more than that? Just go buy as many as you want and leave a message in that. TakeOurBorderback.com, click on raffle. You'll see that right up top under the menu. We also have the Bible and sword. This is the Founder's Bible. This Founder's Bible is signed by all of our speakers and patriots across the country, as well as in Mexico and Canada, guys. And it comes with your sword so that you can put on be reminded to put on the full armor of God. And last but not least, you will have a signed t-shirt. We have a women's and we have a men's. These are signed by all of our speakers. They're already signed. We've got them ready to ship to you. And if you haven't visited our merch store at takeourborderback.com, we've got the Take Our Border Back North America Alliance shirts up there only until they're gone. That's it. So, and we'll just have new shirts made for the next round of Take Our Border Back. We don't know what that's going to look like. Tom Holman, let us know what our next steps are. Guys, we just love you and we're so grateful for you. Go to takeourborderback.com. Scott, in wrapping it up today, your greatest learning.
Well, Kim, I don't know where to start. Make my first step. It's preparing for our Thanksgiving dinner with family and friends and knowing how to approach them. And I think we learned a lot of good things today about how to sit down using the Socratic method, asking questions, opening our arms, giving a lot of love, and most importantly, listening after we ask the questions, truly queuing into what they have to say. But, I want to say whether it's prepping for this event with Thanksgiving and asking questions of our loved ones or getting ready financially, Kim, by calling Matt Geiger and getting your medals, or preparing and getting food and water for what the Bible says is coming. Kim, the preppers were not crazy after all. They were not conspiracy theorists. Those of us that have been getting ready and knew it was coming, I think there's a little redemption for all of us. I think the biggest takeaway today is it's the spiritual. You listen to what we heard today. It's a spiritual war. It's good versus evil, God versus Satan, we the people versus the deep state. And we know God wins. And that's how we want to leave today, with that kind of heartfelt notion that God wins, certainly, Kim. And I'll have a final thought before or after the raffle.
All right, guys. And again, before our raffle, we want to say a great big thank you to our sponsor, Verity Metals, Matt Geiger. A great big thank you to our streamers. You guys, thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for streaming this out today. Thank you, America. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Mexico, for joining us in this round of Take Our Border Back North America Alliance, giving power back to we the people and taking our power back as sovereign nations. And with God, we can do that. So thank you, streamers. Thank you, leaders. Thank you to all of our volunteers, our participants, our warriors. And last but not least, we got a raffle. And then after our raffle, we're going to go out with, if it plays, we're going to let it roll on, Chris Darlington's brand new debut song for every single one of us, Still Standing. It doesn't matter what happens. Stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because my brothers and sisters, your work of the Lord is not in vain. And remember that he who began a good work in you will carry it out to the very end. But stand by. We got a raffle. I'm bringing in Mark Istertoff. Are you ready, Scott? All right, Mark.
I play my drums and give you a drum roll, but I don't have my drum.
We're ready to do a giveaways here.
You have a bowl. Show us your bowl.
Yep.
Show us your
Okay.
bowl.
So I guess we're going to start with the T-shirt for lady, right?
Yeah, put it up high. Put your bowl up. Okay.
Okay, so we've got this, and I'm going to put it in a bigger bowl, all of the entries.
Okay, come close, Mark. We're losing you. We're not seeing you. We might need to take your background off if we're losing you.
All right, let me do that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Here.
We've been working through, Mark's had some technical challenges. I know he looks a little blurry, guys. We have worked everything to fix that. We don't know what the breakdown was here, but we think he kind of got hit on his end. So, okay, that's beautiful. He's at his home. He's getting ready for Thanksgiving. All right.
Pick it up really good.
This is for our Take Our Border Back. Let me stand up. Check it out, you guys. This is our Take Our Border Back women's t-shirt.
This is for the ladies.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice
Lady
V-neck.
t-shirt. It's Dolores Williams.
Oh my gosh.
All
Oh my
right.
gosh. I'm so excited. We know so many of these awesome patriots. Dolores Williams. Guys, I have to confess. Do you know I am not into politics? I'm into truth. Okay. And because of Dolores Williams, she was the one that ignited me into politics. So she is absolutely incredible. Dolores, congratulations. You have your own Take Our Border Back V-neck t-shirt signed by every single one of our speakers, leaders, and you're up, Mark.
Okay, so now we're going to do for the guys here. We'll shake it up.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
Alex Sanchez.
Ooh, Alex Sanchez. Oh, okay. So guys, Alex is awesome. Alex has been a huge proponent of PPN. Thank you, PPN. That's streaming for us. Alex was on the border with us in Texas. We were on the Rio Grande together. We were praying and declaring with his beautiful bride and our whole team that was there. He is a warrior. Alex, congratulations. You have your men's Take Our Border Back North America Alliance historic t-shirt.
Okay, so now we'll go to the Bible and the sword, right?
Very special Bible. This Bible was donated by Pastor Rod Parker and Pastor Suzanne Parker. It is a historic Bible, guys. It's your founder's Bible signed by all of our speakers, and a sword to remind you that to put on the armor, the armor of the Lord.
This is the gift, guys, that we love, because we're going to make the deep state read the Bible before they fall on that sword they're going to get. So,
well, we
Mark
can't make
1.
anyone do anything, but we're going to
read
inspire
the
them
name
into it. Good, Scott. I'm going to go ahead, Mark.
Allie Rose. Allie Rose.
Allie Rose.
Met her in Texas.
Oh my gosh, another person in Texas. That is awesome. And Mark, you mixed all these up. I know that. Allie Rose, congratulations. You have just won your Founder's Bible and sword to remind you to put on the full armor of God. Take your stand against the devil's schemes. Come on. All right. So now
we've got,
hold on. Don't pick that yet. I got to put some music on for this one. Okay. Oh, I should have had music for the other ones too, but
this is, of course, the most popular.
Is this for the deep state shooter?
Yes, it is. Hold on. Let's
the most popular.
Ready? Here we go. Here we go. The winner of the Delta AR-15 rifle. And it is. Who is it, Mark?
Joy Herring.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's too much.
Kim, she knows how to use it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, she does. Oh my gosh. Joy Herring, congratulations. You have just won your Delta AR-15 sharpshooter rifle. Come on. Congratulations. Wow. Mark, thank you so much for just manning that. You did such a great job gathering all of the information. Mark works the back end with me and does a phenomenal job. So Mark, thank you so much for your leadership and Take Our Border Back. And it's been such an honor partnering with you.
Okay. And we have either email address or phone number for everyone.
Yes.
So
okay. That's important.
We'll be sending out notification on when the details, right?
Yes. So I want you guys, Dolores Williams, Alex Sanchez, Allie Rose, and Joy Herring. I want you guys to email us at wethepeople@takeourborderback.com. That's wethepeople@takeourborderback.com. We'll also reach out to you, but we just want to make sure that communication is going to and fro. Communication is very important, and we want to get your gifts to you. Now, merch store, guys, merch. And I'm going to share this with you guys. Mark, thank you so much for all you do. We're going to release you from the room. We love you. Godspeed. And we'll talk to you in just a bit. Mark is amazing. He has been, we call it red pilling his mama for quite some time. And he's taken on some different tactics so that he can ease off and just love up on his mama. She is a warrior as well. I want to pull up a couple of pictures for you guys. Check this out. So these are our historic Take Our Border Back t-shirts. This is Randy and Kim from our New York team. We had tons of fun, guys, but these t-shirts, it is literally what you see there. So go on to the merch store at takeourborderback.com. A couple more pictures for you of our warriors at all of our events, purchasing their t-shirts. Love these guys. We've had there's Gil. Gil is also broadcasting for us, Old Patrol HQ, and on our TOBB for Trump, our boat parade. This was super fun, you guys. We wore our t-shirts as well. So Scotty, I think it's time to kind of wrap us up before we close out with Chris Darlington's debut of his new video and his new song, Still Standing, which everybody needs to get, you guys. He is incredible. And his music was playing through my head last night as I was lying in bed and thinking through the day, Scotty. So Scotty, your final words today.
I think I want to leave on a very simple note. We've said it all today, and we've had such a great honor of the tremendous speakers and thanking all of the wonderful people who stood by. And we apologize for being under attack. You know, they come after us hard, but we persevered, as you said, Kim. We pivoted. But my simple message to all you that have participated today and throughout this year and our many events, beyond thank you, is we all have, Kim, we all need to stay in prayer for our nation. That's for sure. So stay in prayer for our nation, for the US, Canada, and Mexico. I encourage you all, go perform a random act of kindness this weekend. Go do something nice for somebody. Make it a stranger. I'm going to go out and buy somebody on the street here in Mexico dinner tonight. Do it. It'll make you feel better than they feel having been given a nice task. And by all means, please give someone you love a big hug, Kim. It's that simple. Stay in prayer, go perform a random act of kindness, and give someone you love a big hug.
Come on, Scotty. Scotty, and I have to say, it has been such an honor journeying Take Our Border Back with you. From the moment we met at Mission Bay and we broke bread together and we looked at one another and said, is he for real? Is she for real? I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed. I'm so grateful that we've been able to do this journey together. I just love you so much.
Yeah, likewise, Kim, I'd say ditto everything you just said. But one thing's for sure, my questioning if you were real or not, because you're very dramatic. You're very, your eyes. It seems like putting on an act for the camera. No, this is Kim Yater live in the flesh. And don't overdoubt her authenticity and sincerity. So, Kim, it's been an honor to work with you too, and honor to work with everybody. We work with so many great people, so many great bonds. I didn't know Mark Anthony before Take Our Border Back. I knew who he was, but I didn't know him. I didn't know Randy and Kim and Robert Agee and Noel Roberts. These are just wonderful people, lifelong friends. So it's been my honor and pleasure to work with you and everyone else, Kim.
So good, Scotty. I just love you. Love you so much. And what an honor to work with everybody. And we've got somebody sitting in the back room. And I know I can feel the energy. He's like, I got a word for the people. So I'm going to bring him in real quick before we close out. Eddie.
Hey, what a great day.
What a great day.
Yeah,
what
that
a
was
great day.
Fantastic. I enjoyed that. Such great speakers.
Yeah. Really great day. So Eddie, let me ask you. We're about to close out. We're about to cap off the day. We're about to cap off the day. See my hat? Cap off the day with Chris Darlington's. I like your hat, Eddie. Nice hat. With Chris Darlington's still standing. So why don't you stay here with us as we finish off and close out the day. Guys, I want to remind you, this is a special little memory for all of our Take Our Border Back steering committee. We had a special night together being reminded to let our light shine before all men so that they would see our good deeds and praise our Father in heaven. Go and let your light shine so that those around you will see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. We love you. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. We are still here and we are standing with you to the very end. We're in it to win it with every single one of you. Again, God bless you. Thank you to all of our live streamers and their audience, all of our listeners. We love you guys. Share this with everybody you know. And with that being said, salute. We'll see you on the other side. We're finishing off with Chris Darlington's Still Standing.
Saludos desde Mexico, everybody. Here it comes.
Can you hear it?
No. Not
Can you
yet.
hear it? Okay. This is important. Here's the message for all of us today. The message is sometimes things don't go the way we plan them to go, but don't miss opportunity. Opportunity passes. And the opportunity is to listen. Listen in and have powerful conversations this Thanksgiving and holidays. We love you. God bless you. Go listen in to Chris Darlington's Still Standing. God bless you. We'll see you guys on the other side. Night, Scotty. Night, Eddie. Night, everybody.
Adios, amigos.
TakeOurBorderback.com. TakeYourPowerbackShow.com. Sovereign Radio.